we're supposed to look at the entire map and look at that. There's a lot of red on that map. A lot of red on that map. And that tells you right now, it's a lot of votes will be counted. This map looks a lot more like 2016 than it does like 2020. And you know at home what happened in those two elections. But we're not done with the count. So let's look in Georgia. Right now, the former president, leading in Georgia by 136,000 votes and change at 51% to 48%. 89% in. So when you get this close to the finish line, you're saying, what's left? And is it enough? Isn't it enough to overcome 136,000 votes? So let's start with that, and let's look at where our live outstanding votes are. The bigger the circle, the more votes still to be counted. The color of the circle, how the votes coming in that area right now. So you do see a lot of big circles in Atlanta and the suburbs. Down here, in Savannah and the suburban areas around that. Columbus, Georgia, down here. You see some pockets of Democratic votes that are still out. They're large pockets. That's a lot of votes. And if they come in big numbers, we'll see how significantly the vice president narrows that gap. You also see a lot of these little blue dots. They're not done in the rural counties in Georgia. And that matters too. Because yes, if you get a big basket of votes, in Cobb County is at 95% though. But you're not going to get a ton there. Fulton County is at 90%. It's the largest population center, so 10% can be a lot of votes because of the population center. This is the one we're waiting the most on, Gwinnett County, but they're up to 72% now. And then we'll come down here and look at DeKalb County. They're at 89% now. So we have more votes to come from in this circle of Atlanta and the suburbs around that are blue. But we also have more votes to come from in some of these counties out here. That one's at 94. That one's at 95. That one's at 98. That one's at 92. So you know, you got a lot of votes in these places. So Donald Trump still has some votes to pick up in the rural areas. The question is, how big are the vice president's advantages in the Democratic areas where votes are still out? When you're down by 136,000 votes, with 89% reporting, when those votes come in, not only in Atlanta suburbs, but just going to check down here in Chatham County, it's only at 36%. So again, if you're in the Harris campaign, that means that we're exactly right. They are scrubbing the books now. They're looking at their data projections. They are calling people in the states. They're trying to find out what happened here. How many people turned out? We're getting 60% of the vote at 36% county. How many more are we get? And are they all ours, or are we splitting these votes? That it gets frantic in campaign headquarters at this point of the night when we're trying to figure out is the math possible. I would say, as you point out, yes, the math is possible, but you'd rather be Donald Trump right now in Georgia than the Vice President of the United States. So let's look at North Carolina, another of the Sun Belt states. 145,000 votes ahead. That's almost twice what Donald Trump won North Carolina by 4 years ago. 85% of the voting. Same test. What's the outstanding vote? Again, smaller circle now in Mecklenburg. I'll go there in just a second. See, that was a little bit bigger earlier tonight. That's the largest county. Mecklenburg County is Charlotte and the suburbs around it. Out here, in the Raleigh-Durham area, still a lot of votes to be had. Fayetteville area, a lot of votes to be counted. But again, those little tiny dots, right? Not a lot out there, but all those little rural counties add up for Donald Trump. So let's just come out and check where we're talking about. Right here, Cumberland County, that's Fayetteville. Only 21%. So this is where, if you're the Harris campaign, when I was in those Georgia counties, they were at 75%, 80%, somewhere in that ballpark. That gets you nervous, that gets you jittery. Here, you're still jittery because you're losing, but you know there are a lot more votes out there. This is the second largest county in the state, Wake County. They're up to 82%, so you're starting to get a little nervous there. If you're looking for places, that's 94%. If you're looking for places that are your color, that's 95%. They're in the 60s, in the 70s, or the 30s, right? This county is not as much population, but at least there, you have some hope. Let's look at Mecklenburg. They're at 90%. Now again, this is where the biggest numbers come in, so that 10% can matter, but it's the only big county you have left. And the other guy has 145,000 vote lead in a state he has won twice. So then we come up here, and that's what made Donald Trump president in 2016. He flipped the blue wall states that had voted. They have voted together since 1992. They have voted blue in every one of those elections with the exception of 2016. Right now, as we get closer in to late night here, Donald Trump is leading in Pennsylvania by 116,000 votes. Only 67%, so a ways to go there, a ways to go. The Senate race is also tight. Guess what? Here we are in Pennsylvania. Then he's come over here. He's leading in Wisconsin. This is a state, 2 elections in a row, which were decided by ballpark 20,000 votes. Trump's lead is 26,000 votes right there. Again, Battleground, Wisconsin, very close. Vice President's keep scratching to try to find votes. And Michigan, she's leading in Michigan, only 30% of the votes there coming in. So, to me, as I look at this map, the blue wall states become paramount, Jake.
Indeed, voting is about to end in 4 states out west. That includes the biggest prize of all, California, which has 54 of the 78 electoral votes at stake this hour. We have projections. We now CNN can project that Kamala Harris will win the state of California with those 54 electoral votes. Not expected. Harris will win California. CNN is also projecting that Donald Trump will win the state of Idaho with 4 electoral votes. So what does that mean for the electoral? Too early to call. We have Washington State with 12 electoral votes and Oregon with 8 electoral votes. Too early to call. Let's go to the electoral map right now. Donald Trump with 211 electoral votes at this hour. Kamala Harris cracks 100, now has 145 electoral votes. 270 electoral votes are needed to win. Donald Trump is 59 electoral votes away from that. Let's look at these battleground states now. Arizona, Donald Trump in the lead there, 49.6%. Kamala Harris right behind him at 49.5%. Donald Trump has a 2,356 vote lead with 51% of the estimated vote in from Arizona. Wisconsin, Donald Trump in the lead there too, 49.9% of the vote. Kamala Harris at 48.4%. Donald Trump has a 28,576 vote lead with an estimated 59% of the estimated vote in from the Badger State. In the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Donald Trump maintaining his lead. He's at 50.7% of the vote. Kamala Harris with 48.2% of the vote. Donald Trump with a 119,411 vote lead, with 68% of the estimated vote in from Pennsylvania. In Georgia, Donald Trump still in the lead there, 51% of the vote. Kamala Harris with 48.2% of the vote. Donald Trump with a 136,328 vote lead. That is with 88% of the estimated vote in from the state of Georgia. In North Carolina, another battleground where Donald Trump leads 50.8% of the vote. Kamala Harris has 47.8% of the vote. Donald Trump has a 145,388 vote lead over Kamala Harris right now with an estimated 85% of the vote in from the Tar Heel state. In battleground Michigan, Kamala Harris in the lead. She has 51.3% of the vote. Donald Trump has 46.9%. Kamala Harris is 74,838 votes ahead of Donald Trump. But that's less than a third of the vote counted there. 30% of the estimated vote in from the state of Michigan. In the Commonwealth of Virginia, Kamala Harris in the lead there still, but narrowly so. 50.1% of the vote. Donald Trump has 48% of the vote. Kamala Harris with a 73,375 vote lead. That is with 78% of the estimated vote in from the Commonwealth of Virginia. In New Mexico, Harris leads there too, 52.6% of the vote. Donald Trump with 45.5% of the vote. That is with an estimated 69% of the vote in. Harris with a roughly 43,000 vote lead. Let's go now to Abby Phillip, who is at Harris campaign headquarters in Washington, D.C. at the campus of Howard University. Abby, what are you hearing from the Harris campaign, if anything?
Yeah, Jake, we actually just got a pretty significant update from the Harris campaign campaign manager, Jen O'Malley Dillon, who sent out a memo to her staff tonight, laying out what they see ahead in the coming days and hours, and my colleague Jeff Zeleny is here with me. The memo essentially says, Jake, that the returns are coming in slowly. They still see their path, but that path is largely going to be through the blue wall, as Jeff and I were just discussing. The key point that Jen O'Malley Dillon is making is that this is a close race. This is the close race that they have been expecting. She says to her staff, we are built for this. Let's finish the night out. We will see you tomorrow. They are not expecting this to be wrapped up tonight.
They are not, because the margins are so small. And just reading from that memo, should we have known all along our clearest path to 270 was through the blue wall states. And again, they point out the cities we were talking about, Milwaukee, Detroit, and of course Philadelphia. Having a central question hanging over all of this, and indeed the crowd here waiting behind us, is Vice President Harris going to address the crowd? That is a possibility. We will see in the coming days as we hear some helicopters overhead here. We will see. But the bottom line is they know this is a close race. This is going to be not resolved tonight in their eyes.
Yeah, Jeff, this is a critical moment, I think, for the Harris campaign to show where they get to 270. And Jake, it looks like they are not foreclosing really on anything in the map right now that is not called. They're still waiting for the polls to close in parts of the Sun Belt, for those results to come trickling in. But again, it's the
with John King at the Magic Wall. John, explain the theory of the case for the Harris campaign right now, if you would.
Right, and you heard Jeff and Abby emphasizing even the campaign saying essentially they don't rule out any other possibilities, but we're really banking on the blue wall. Well, at the moment, as we speak, 2 of the 3 blue wall states, that's Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, 2 of the 3 are red. We're not done. We're not done, but 2 of the 3 are red. Why is that significant? Well, it's the Sun Belt states. And again, Harris campaign is not ruling this out, but you show this here. Donald Trump, 142,000 votes ahead in North Carolina. I can show you the live outstanding votes. And when I show you the live outstanding votes, you will see in pretty big circles in the blue areas, large metropolitan areas and suburban areas that the Democrats do quite well. I just want to say, at 85% reporting statewide, at 142,000 votes, is it mathematically possible? Are there enough votes out there? Yes. When you get to this point in the election and the state of Donald Trump won twice, you start to think, okay, this looks like it did in 2016 and in 2020. It looks more like 2016 than it did in 2020, to be honest with you. But you look at it, and if you're in the Harris campaign, you're calling all these counties. You're trying to figure out, how many votes are out, what percentage you're getting. Looking at the North Carolina map, I'd rather be Donald Trump than the Vice President of the United States right now. But then you bring out the Georgia map, and again, this one, I'll say this again on a broken record, 2024 is not 2020. There's not as many Democrats. We won't have as many large percentages of Democratic votes coming in the days after. But Donald Trump is ahead by more than 200,000 votes at this point 4 years ago. So let's just be cautious for the sake of being cautious. And yet, at the same time, I just said that, I want to tell you, he's 136,000 votes ahead in a state that was decided by 11,000 votes last Sunday. 88% of the vote is in. So where is the live outstanding vote? Live outstanding vote. This is where the Harris campaign, you're just hoping that overnight these Democratic areas report not just their votes, but a lot of them. You're hoping turnout exceeds your expectations. So you see down here in the Savannah area, this is where races are won or lost for Democrats. Atlanta and the suburbs around it. So let's come out of that map. And again, here's the key point. Fulton County, 90% of the vote is in. Yes, she's getting 72% of the vote. We'll check, compare that. It's a little below 6,500, but it's close. But remember, she won the state by 11,000 votes. She can't really afford to be below here. Anyway, we're not by much anyway. We move over to Cobb County, 91% in. It's a big suburban county, right? So 91%, you have some change to make up there. He's at 57% if you round that up. The President of the United States is at 56, so she's running, we'll maybe a little bit ahead there. So let's go over to DeKalb County here. Let's come up to 2024 and see what's left. 11% left. Yes, large, very Democratic area. You see the 81% there. Just to the east of Atlanta. This is check 2020. Biden getting 83. 81, 83. You might think at home that's not that big of a difference. In a race that's very close, yes, it can be a big difference. So we have to watch. At the moment, let's do it this way. Come back to 2024. So let's just pop in this and see where's Harris underperforming. Where's Harris underperforming Joe Biden? And the state Joe Biden won by 11,000 votes. She can't really underperform, but she's underperforming in 28 of the 159 counties, right? So we have more votes to be counted. We're not done yet. This is not a final glimpse. But you see out of these rural areas, this is part of the secret of Joe Biden's win in 2020. He got his butt kicked by Donald Trump in these small rural counties. And he barely knows that. Wood-collar workers, rural workers, people who work with their hands. Joe Biden did just a little bit better. And in the state decided by 11,000 votes, that can matter. So again, you asked me about the map. We're not done. We're going to count. The Harris campaign will update us. They did their counting. We have people on the ground asking the people who are vote desperate, Karen Brown, what votes are still outstanding. If you look at this map right now, I want to switch. So let's just check real quickly where we are in Wisconsin. 61%. I want to check in Milwaukee. This is where, okay, only 52% in Milwaukee. Black turnout in Milwaukee, very huge. In the uncounted vote, after the Vice President was kept up, the talked to the Democrat out there earlier who said it was good. So they didn't say it was great, they said it was good. So I asked them, great, and they said it was good. So we'll see how that plays out. Dane County, 74%, we're at 91%. Again, after you broke the record, 75%. A percentage point from that, underperforming by just a little bit. And so she's losing in Wisconsin. Got a way to go there. He's holding on to Michigan at the moment. It's only at 32%. So we got a long way to go to Battleground, Michigan. We come back out here. And this one is the biggest. I'm going to show you why in just a second. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, we've been saying it for weeks. 19 electoral votes, the largest of the Battleground states out there. 72% in. 178,000 vote lead. That's a healthy lead. Now again, let's look. Let's look. There's a lot of votes. If this is what happened, remember 2020. Donald Trump was ahead in Pennsylvania. This was what brought Joe Biden back. They counted the votes, mainly in Philadelphia, but also in the suburbs around it. That was 2020. There were a lot more early mail-in votes then to be counted than there are now, but we shall see as we come out. And Jake, before you jump in, please ask me anything you want. One little quirky thing. Trump's leading in Northampton. Harris is leading in Erie. Those are the two swing counties. So just watching that. And here's what I want to say right now. I just want to bring this up to show the stakes for the Harris campaign right now. As the county of North Carolina gets higher and Georgia gets higher, the importance if Donald Trump, if, this is hypothetical, if Donald Trump holds these two, and you want that to vote for 15 and 2020. You want this in 2016, you lost by 11,000 votes in 2020. So not at all inconceivable in history, and we look at the numbers tonight. If that happens, Harris cannot lose that. Why can she not lose that? Because 251 plus 19 makes Donald Trump president of the United States. Look, the rest of them didn't matter. I don't mean your votes don't matter in those other states. But in terms of the path to 270, if he holds the leads he has right now in those two states, which are healthy leads, he cannot afford to lose that. There's no cannot. And at the moment, we switch mass. Please jump in if you want. Switch back to national account.
Okay. I want to stick in Pennsylvania and bring in Kate Baldwin, who is a vote counting center in the best city in the world, Philadelphia. Kate, what do you learn?
It's the only area where you love to buy. We just learned, as John was focusing in on the outstanding mail in ballots. That's something that we have all been waiting for. I just learned to be sort of close to the counting process that the next batch, the second batch of mail ballots that will be loaded and posted, scheduled for 11:55 p.m. That will be tens of thousands of ballots. They're still working through it, so narrowing that number down any further is not possible at the time that we can be working with it. But it will be tens of thousands of mail ballots that will be posted at 11:55 just before midnight, adding to which was the first batch, which ended up being 115,000 mail ballots, which is just narrowing the universe of what's outstanding and getting us closer and closer to what John has been talking about. Once you get that 50% of the 50% of the vote in, then you can really start seeing where things are headed. And what we're seeing in Philadelphia, they're not getting the 50%, they're getting closer to it, and these mail ballots when we post at 11:55, we're going to find it more there.
All right, Kate, thanks so much. Let's go to the other side of the time. Well, Brian Todd's at both counties on the right side of Pittsburgh. Brian, what's the status of the vote there?
Jake, a lot of very quickly here for the election manager of the county, David. It's going to be kind of all pretty soon, but by midnight, how much of the vote do you think will be in?
I believe we're roughly 98% now as reported. I believe by midnight, we're 89%. I believe by midnight we can be around 98.
To clarify, just about all the mail
All the mail that we have will be counted and tabulated this evening. The only thing that it will not be is any military or overseas ballots, which they have an extra week to return their ballots, and they'll be scanned in later.
And an illustration is right behind us, the votes coming in. Explain to our viewers what these are and where they're going to be put.
So these yellow bags are the physical paper ballots that the voters have voted. They're put in these bags and sealed and locked. Seal numbers are traced for chain of custody, and they will be locked up and kept here.
Just how smoothly has it gone? Because we've gone, it's gone incredibly smoothly here now.
So this crew that works here on election day, they've done a really good job since 2020. I mean, we posted our first batch of approximately 186,000 mail-in ballots at 8:02. And you know by law and PA, we're not going to post any results before 8 o'clock.
Is there anything we can look to be outstanding after midnight tonight?
Just the provisional ballots, which we're sworn in on Friday, to start the return board, that's our recount. That's when we'll start researching those provisionals, see how many we have, and start counting those. And again, like I said, the overseas and military ballots, this whole count get into the system next week.
Just how many of those there are?
Less than 4,000 total.
Harris campaign has been trying to get wide turnout. That's Bucks, Chester, Delaware, and Montgomery counties where results have been slow coming in. So I just spoke to an official in Chester County. An official there tells me that they just released a large batch of mail-in ballots. So that release was 60,673. By 1 a.m. I told we'll see more results from the precincts of today's in-person votes. You have to remember they have to take the memory card, drive it in from large counties. Now, total ballots counted so far, like this is the universe, right? It's 151,950. And then I should note the ballots cast in person today there in this key Collier County is 91,277 per this official. Let's go over to Bucks County. This is another credible Collier County, as John King has been talking about all night. I'm told results will trickle in as the data cars are being drained from the polling places. An official I was just in touch with texting with there in Bucks says so far over 90,000 mail-in ballots are accounted for in the results of a possible total of 151,000. And I also want to note this, that the state will be required to report the outstanding early votes by midnight, so we should get a clearer picture soon there in this critical battleground Commonwealth reserve. Back to you.
All right, fascinating. She was just talking about Bucks County. Walk us through Bucks County. This is where Harris had a couple of big events there, including that one with Liz Cheney, really making a play for Republican women, especially in Bucks County.
And for Haley vote, he only got 155,000 votes in the Pennsylvania primary long after 2008, so that's one piece of the competition. Two things to say about this. Number one, it's only half the vote. So if you just think we have about 200,000 more votes, right? This is 51% to 103 to 102. So you've got roughly 200,000 votes still to come in. Bucks County is the most competitive in Collier County. If she sees at 50%, the vice president, she rounds up. Again, President Biden was at 52. If you round him up, you say that's not a huge difference. But Jake, you know the Commonwealth very well. In the competitive swing counties, a half a point or a point can matter. Right now, they're going to be much worse than the vice president.
Indeed. And CNN projects it now. Folks at home, CNN projects that the state of Oregon will go to Kamala Harris as expected. Oregon, with its 8 electoral votes, will go to the Democrat Kamala Harris. Let's take a look at the electoral map. Right now, Donald Trump has 211 electoral votes. Kamala Harris has 153 electoral votes. 270 are needed to win. Let's take a look at the key races now. Arizona, Donald Trump in the lead there, 49.6% of the vote. Kamala Harris right behind him, 49.5% of the vote. Donald Trump with a roughly 3,000 vote lead. That's with 51% of the estimated vote in from the state of Arizona. In Battleground, Wisconsin, Donald Trump maintaining his lead, 50.4% of the vote. Kamala Harris is 48% of the vote. Donald Trump with a more than 50,000 vote lead right now with 63% of the estimated vote in from the Badger stage. In the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Donald Trump maintaining his lead, 51% of the vote. Kamala Harris is 47.9% of the vote. Donald Trump with more than 165,000 more votes than Kamala Harris, with more than 3/4, 76% of the estimated vote in from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. In Battleground, Georgia, Donald Trump in the lead, 50.9% of the vote. Kamala Harris is 48.3% of the vote. Donald Trump has a more than 131,000 vote lead over Kamala Harris. That's with 90% of the estimated vote in. So they've got 10% to go here in Georgia, but Donald Trump in the lead. In North Carolina, another battleground, Donald Trump still in the lead there with 50.7% of the vote. Kamala Harris with 47.9% of the vote. Donald Trump has a more than 138,000 vote lead over Kamala Harris with an estimated 87% of the vote in. In Battleground, Michigan, Kamala Harris is in the lead, 50.2% of the vote. Donald Trump has 48% of the vote. Harris has a more than 40,000 vote lead over Donald Trump with 1/3, 33% of the vote in there. John King?
So Jake, just going through some of these counties in Pennsylvania again, Joe Biden won the state. Go back and show you it. 81,000 votes, right? His birth state, he's from Delaware now, he was born in Pennsylvania. That was one of the things that helped him, because he was, he liked to call himself the scrappy 50 friend. So where are we now in 2024? I was just looking here, this is Black and White County, this is where Joe Biden was born. Spread in Pennsylvania, you say, well, the vice president's winning at 51%. Donald Trump's at 48, right? So again, in a close battleground state, margins within some of these counties can matter. She's at 51. Joe Biden, 4 years ago, was at 54. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. You look at the margin there, you say, oh, that's only 9,000 votes, right? You know, you're trying now, you're trying to make up this lead, right? That's 3,000 votes, a little less than that, a little more than that, maybe 3,000 votes. The reason for that is you're trying to make up 173,000 votes, right? So when you're losing ground in each of these counties, it hurts. And so let's just come over here. This is Missouri County. This is Trump country, Pennsylvania. Harris getting 42%, 43 if you want to round that up. Trump at 57. Again, 43 for the vice president, 42. So there she's competing, not so bad. There. So you just look for the pieces as you come through. Suburban County, 65 for Trump. 4 years ago, 72% for Trump. Now, that's white workers, blue-collar workers, high school educated workers. When I check back in here, Lehigh County vice president getting 52%. There's a little bit out here. Again, you're looking for population centers now. This is the 10th largest of the 67 counties. If you're the Harris campaign, you're looking at population centers trying to say what's left in the places where there are a lot of people. Modest amount of people we have left. So you see it right there, 52. This one will come back. Joe Biden's at 53. You see the pattern that continues, right? You know, I was saying Donald Trump has to recruit standing at 22 in the suburbs. She has to match Joe Biden in these close battleground states. And in a place that matters, blue-collar Pennsylvania, you don't see it right now. Some votes still to be counted. Maybe she makes it up. But so then the other point is, if you're losing places, can you make it up? Right? If you're losing in one piece of the state, can you make it up somewhere else? Look at Delaware County. She's getting 60% of the vote. Right? So it's only 70% counted. She's getting 60. Biden got 63. Even in Delaware County, which is strongly Democratic. That was my last stop in all of the map tour. There. Again, this time, right, so 70% of the votes have come. And look at it. Right? If you've got 70%, the votes you're going to make up, if the percentages stay the same, you're going to make up somewhere in the ballpark of 15 to 20,000 votes, right? That's great. You're making up 15 to 20,000 votes. His lead is 178,000 votes. So you're looking for places to make up a ton, which is why I circle back to your hometown. What Kate Baldwin just told us is absolutely essential. It was Saturday morning in 2020 when that last installment from Philadelphia came in. The next installment will not be the last installment from Philadelphia, but she said tens and tens of thousands of votes, right? The Vice President of the United States is getting 77% of the vote right now in Philadelphia. They're approaching 70% for 40. We come back in time. The President of the United States is getting over 81% in Philadelphia. Again, this is your biggest basket of vote. The Democratic coalition, this is the foundation. There's no house for Democrats. That's the foundation of Philadelphia. At the moment, she is underperforming the President of the United States, and she has to make up 178,000 votes. The math there is pretty clear. It's not mission impossible, but the more you get deeper into the count, the question is, after this next big batch of votes in Philadelphia, does it become mission improbable? I think is what we're looking for as we wait for more votes in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And again, Trump with Pennsylvania, the map gets near impossible. Not impossible, but near impossible.
There have been stories written a week or two ago about Democrats in Philadelphia sounding the alarm and telling, basically using the press to send a message to the Harris campaign that they didn't think that the Harris campaign was listening to Philadelphia Democrats enough about the need to improve the margins. And just, Donald Trump lost Pennsylvania in 2020, but he improved his vote count in Philly from 2016 to 2020, and it looks like he's doing that again tonight, even while improving his margins in the Collar counties as opposed to what happened 4 years ago.
Well, we don't have the raw numbers yet, obviously, because we're at 70%. He's at 22 if you round that up, 117,000 votes. Let's just go back and look. He's certainly on track to. If he keeps the percentage he's at now, right? He's at 18% there, and he had 132,000 votes. He's at 117,000 votes, and we still got 30% So it sure looks like he's overperforming 2020. We're not done yet, but it sure looks like that. And then so the analysis afterwards will be, who is it? Is it black voters in Philadelphia? There's some suburban areas outside of Philadelphia there. There's some active white voters there as well. But that will be the analysis afterwards. The thing that strikes me is we're going through these states. The thing you've heard for the last week from the Harris people is that we're on the ground. Our labor allies are on the ground. Our progressive groups are on the ground. Our LGBT groups are on the ground. We're knocking on doors and we don't see the Trump people anywhere. Right? Trump did sort of contract out and get out the vote. I was in 7 or 8 of these battleground states in the last couple of weeks. We didn't see many Trump people out there at all, just with phone banks. But what happened in 2016 is Trump's support was organic. It was organic. And so, the Trump campaign says, text and phone calls work to turn out voters. Democrats think it's knocking on the doors. If this map holds up, that's going to be a big conversation about motivating and turning out voters in this technology. What works best? What kind of contact works best? Or, the Vice President's campaign, will they say she only had 110 days? She didn't have enough time to introduce herself. That part, we're not done yet. But that's what's going to happen. If that happens, the finger pointing in the Democratic Party. We're not there yet, but as you watch this map go in, another thing that is distinctive at the moment, we're not done yet. In 2 presidential elections, Donald Trump has lost the popular vote both times. At the moment, he's 5.1 million votes ahead. We're just starting to count in our most popular state. So there's a long way to go, and that could change. It could change. But that would be a trophy if Donald Trump wins this election. That would be a trophy he would very much like to claim after losing the popular vote in 2 elections in a row.
And you also know there are people in the senior echelons of the Trump campaign who say that they still do direct mail because there are seniors, you can't reach seniors through texting and emails. That the way to reach them is with direct mail, which a lot of people in politics today laugh off. But guess who votes more than young people? Seniors. Sarah Seidman, let's go to Wisconsin if we can, because I want to bring in Sarah Seidman to the Recounting Center. In Milwaukee, right now, with 66% of the vote in, Donald Trump is in the lead there with 50.6%. In Wisconsin in general, Kamala Harris with 47.8%. Donald Trump right now is leading by almost 60,000 votes. Sarah, you have officials with you. You can tell us about the outstanding vote in Wisconsin. Still about a third of the state's vote is outstanding. What can you tell us?
Yeah, we just heard a big cheer go up here in Milwaukee at the central count, as they call it, because all the wards have finally reported. So they are counting these counts as fast as they can. They do believe they're going to be able to give some kind of idea of this count after midnight. It will not take the extra 2 or 3 hours they thought it might because of that problem with what happened with the tabulators, which, by the way, are right behind me, one of them. All 13 of them, there was an issue that the door was not locked, and so they, out of their abundance of caution, decided that they were going to rerun through the absentee ballots, 30,000 of them, but they've been able to do that, and now there are about 80,000 of 108, 325,000 that have already been processed. All right, with me now, we have Patricia Ruiz County and Douglas Haig, Republican, Democrat, both of them are on the Milwaukee Election Commission. First of all, how are things going, and do you think we're going to find out something soon?
Well, I think things are going really well, even though we had a little hiccup. But as we united, all the workers and the parties, I think that it's extremely important that we were on the same page and that we had an agreement and everything is going well.
What did you make of this? I know Ron Johnson came out, Republican, and was very upset with all of this and was sort of making hay about it. What were your thoughts on what happened with these issues?
Well, there was a human error in part of it. So when it was caught, we just simply did a rerun on the crossing of tabulators, and even probably some of the tabulators should have seen it. But it was caught by one of the observers, brought it to the executive director's attention, and it was acted upon immediately. We took care of it, and yes, we anticipated much further delay than they are, but I think we're right on schedule where we anticipated to be earlier. And true, you can see around and look at the co-workers at work, as well as Democrats and Republicans working side by side, and many of them doing this for many years, and they've become very efficient about it, and the integrity of each group. So I think we're going to be getting those numbers fairly soon. I don't want to say as early as we would like, but I think it's going to be earlier than we thought before we have the numbers.
Just tell me, what do you think of this, the number of voters? Are you seeing the numbers larger than in 2020, and what are you seeing now?
Actually, I'm not seeing this as large as I thought before, but I was doing, most of us were going out to the polls earlier too. The polls were steady and nice flow. What I did see is a high volume of same-day registrations. That would seem to be a much more increase at all the voting sites, and not just one geographical area, whether it be on whatever demographics, but it was all over that was encompassed. I talked to each inspector, and that is the area that I saw a much increase in the participation, same-day registration.
Registration, we saw it also in Suburban today, a lot of people coming and registering and voting. Thank you both so much. We should just make very clear, you've heard it here from a Republican and a Democrat who are election commissioners, that there was an agreement. This is going to be a free and fair election here in Milwaukee. People are watching
appreciate it. Let's take a look at Milwaukee and Wisconsin at large. Donald Trump in the lead with 66% of the vote in the state in general. Tell me about the WOW counties, if you could. Or
You're right around Milwaukee or the WOW. Let me get to this second. Just what I put there. Number one, we've learned about Senator Johnson in recent years. We like to put up resolutions before we go to the stats are. Sorry, it happens to be true. Especially about voting and thinking. That's how it's supposed to work. Democrat, Republican, side by side, Democrats, Republicans throughout the room. They're fine. They're doing what they're supposed to do. They had a human error, go on human, and they're fixing it. Right? That's how it works. Sometimes it means you wait a little while, but you have people in the room, eyeballs, both parties, eyeballs on everything fine. But the point Mr. Hague said again is constructive to me in the sense that if you come to here, you're down, you're the vice president, you're losing by just shy of 60,000 votes. This is the number one county. It is 17%, 16, 17% of the state population. You're getting 66%, so you say, okay, there's still 40% of the votes to come in. But Mr. Hague just made a point and said you can turn out the state. Let's see what these final numbers are. Because if you look at that number right there, and look at 176,000, right? When Joe Biden carried Wisconsin 4 years ago, it said 317,000, and it's 69% of the vote, right? So 317,000 and 69% of the vote. He's at 66% of the vote, and the raw math, right? You need a higher percentage, but you need that raw math to overcome what is happening in all this red, right? Especially, one more check on each of your wow. Dane County is 95% in, right? This is Madison, this is University of Wisconsin. Young voters, college area, tends to be more liberal. 74% for her, 242,000. Again. Biden's number's higher, and the math is higher. That's what happens in Battleground. That's how you win or lose Battleground states.
get out the vote and in a higher percentage.
And so in the place, the state won by 20,000 votes. You saw the margins even just right there. So let's go to the WOW. You're going to go to Waukesha County. You just here recently, right? This is a place the Harris campaign was hoping, hey, women, you don't have to tell your husband who you're going to vote for. If you believe in reproductive freedom in a conservative county, vote Harris, just don't tell your husband that. This is one of the places they talked about decision, reproductive freedom, abortion rights would help them cut into the bargain. Well, we're at 91%, we'll see, but 40% is her number. If you round that up, we'll go back in time. It's a tiny bit, but it's not a significant jump to where the president was 4 years ago. Trump's at 60% if you round up then. He's at 59. So a little bit, maybe a tiny inroads there for her. So you're moving around up here. You go up to Washington County. This is the big 70% of the vote here for Trump. Let's just double check it and come back. You improved up a little bit. You improved a little bit. And then you come over here to the O. I did wow backwards for you there. Put the O at the end.
Yeah.
But you go to Ozaki here. And the former president is at 55% of the vote in 2020. And he's at 56, roughly the same, but a little bit, So Trump is not underperforming. It's maybe within the margin, but when you see that well behind where President Biden was, and now you're waiting on this. I mean, there are some other small things. Let's just take a look and see what else is out there. But if you can see, the biggest thing is here, and some of these votes out in here. If you're in the Trump campaign, we're talking about can she come back? But if you're in the Trump campaign, you're also saying he was pushing. Is there more coming in for us? And the answer is yes.
They had all that.
When you look out there. So the next thing we learned from Milwaukee is how many votes, what is her percentage, how does it affect the statewide math, and then how much is left? How much is left? This is your biggest area you got to turn it up. Because then again, just want to come up here and look at this. Again, Brown County, this is Green Bay, blue collar workers. Trump's getting 61, Vice President's getting 37 or 38 if you want to round that up. That matters.
Oh my God!
Matters.
He almost shot almost 10 points, like 9 points.
In a battleground state, he's up and she's down. In a place where if you're the Harris campaign, the Biden campaign, you're not going to win here. You're not going to win here. But if you make it that race, if you make it that close instead of that close, you get a better result. Period. It's simple math.
Let's go on to the third of the blue wall states, Michigan. Jim Sciutto is at a vote counting center in Detroit. And Jim, you have an update on the vote in Wayne County. Tell us.
Well, let me tell you, we've been in touch with the Secretary of State's office really every few minutes here, trying to figure out when we're going to get another batch of Detroit, of course, surrounding Wayne County votes. And we're told very soon. They won't put a figure on very soon, but very soon. They're working hard, calculating those numbers.
counting those votes, and that there have been no issues. They're not encountering any issues with machines, etc. This is just a process of getting the work done. We've also been in touch with Macomb County, where we were outside of Detroit earlier today. They're also expecting, they say, another batch of votes to be recorded quite soon. And here where we are in Detroit, this is the location where they've been counting the absentee ballots. Just in the last hour, another 2,500 or so absentee ballots came in. That brings us pretty much to the end of the 100,000 that they've expected. And at some point in the next hour, you'll see another U-Haul truck come in with the remaining absentee ballots that they've collected from drop boxes around the city here, and they've been counting as they've been going. Remember, because they started counting last Monday, we didn't have to wait until Election Day, so those numbers will be done soon. I will say the Secretary of State told me earlier this evening that she's moving up her expectation that by midday tomorrow they can report final unofficial results, saying she believes they might be able to do that tonight, perhaps after midnight in the next couple of hours, but of course they'll have to get those Wayne County numbers done first. I should note, the Secretary of State just walked in here to monitor the counting of those absentee ballots that she's been doing at precincts around the state.
All right, Jim Shudo, thank you so much. Jim Shudo in Detroit. John, it's 2024. They only have 16% reported in Wayne County over Detroit.
One of the things you look for in life are consistency.
Death taxes, Wayne County.
Wayne County, Indiana, they're consistent. This is my 10th presidential election, and the 10th time we've been counting late at night, and you're saying, no, Detroit? It's the way it is. But, you see the Secretary of State's there, Jim is there. Again, that's nothing nefarious. It's just inefficiency. To your point about it, we live in a technological age. And Jim just said, they changed the law in Michigan so you can count some of the early votes, beforehand, and then release them after the polls close. So it adds to the why. But right now, let's focus on the what, which is an 86,000 vote, almost 87,000 vote lead for the former president. Again, in one of the states he flipped in. So pull that up to make sure I'm right. Yes, he's leading all three of them now.
Oh, wait, that changed what we were talking. She was ahead in Michigan, and now she's no longer ahead. Now Donald Trump is in the lead. Right now, not all the votes are counted, but right now he's leading in all three blue wall states.
Plus North Carolina, plus Georgia, plus Arizona, plus Nevada. We're not done with the count.
But this is right now the map of 2016.
That is the map of 2016, and that is the 5-alarm fire inside the Harris campaign here on the phone. Again, we're not done, and we lived through 2020. I will say it again, slowly and clearly. 2020, this time of night, there were states that changed, and they were largely, Pennsylvania changed, Trump led, in Georgia, things have changed. There's not as many mail ballots out there as in 2020, so I would not expect as dramatic a swing. The question then becomes, state by state, county by county, is the map there? And, I'm making these, I'm trying to be fair and trying to, possible. When you're leading in all of them, and you're Trump, that's what you're saying in the head. So maybe they're not going to win them all. But they're leading in all of them right now. So let's just look at what happened here. They come on in. Number one, it's the small rural counties. When they fill in again, you say, oh, that's not a lot of votes. Well, that's a lot of votes when you have it there, and then you have it here, and then you have it again here. You're getting 500, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 in all these little counties. 120 votes there. That's only 5% reported. You say, oh, that's not much. It's a lot. When you think you go to a state and you have all these counties, and then the question is, so what are the Democratic margins, right? You've got 83 counties in the state of Michigan. So 56%, we're about halfway through the Penn County. It's the Grand Rapids suburb, and she's running a little bit ahead of the president there. The big question in Michigan is, when do those Wayne County votes come in, and what do they do to the statewide total?
All right, John, well, CNN has a major projection. CNN projects that Donald Trump will win the state of North Carolina. This is the first of 7 battleground states that we're keeping an eye on, and we are calling it for Donald Trump. What does that mean for the electoral count? Donald Trump now has 227 electoral votes. Kamala Harris has 153. 207 are needed to win. Let's go to Trump HQ in West Palm Beach, Florida, where we find Caitlin Collins. And Caitlin, CNN is now calling North Carolina for Donald Trump. This is the first of 7 battleground states that the campaign is watching with eagle eyes.
numbers. But North Carolina is an important benchmark for the Trump campaign because they were watching it to get a gut check for how they believe the rest of the evening could go. And I can tell you that what I'm hearing from Trump campaign sources is they are increasingly confident as the night is going on, still not certain, of course, watching those very important blue wall states to see what they look like. And so that is going to be the big question here as they continue to keep an eye on Pennsylvania, on Michigan, on Wisconsin as this is moving forward. Jim, I will tell you that we're seeing more people from the Mar-a-Lago party come over here to the Trump headquarters where this party is going to be held. But also, some Republicans are flying into Palm Beach. We just heard from House Speaker Mike Johnson, who was watching the results come in with his constituents back in Shreveport. He is now headed here tonight because he is predicting a bigger Republican margin in the House, a Republican takeover of the Senate, and he says he believes a Republican is going to win the White House, therefore Donald Trump take. Obviously, still waiting to see, but a noticeable shift here in the mood at the Trump headquarters.
All right, Caitlin Collins from West Palm Beach at Trump HQ, thank you so much. So, the first of the 7 battleground states to fall, seen and projecting North Carolina today.
This was the most probable pickup for Kamala Harris, if that was the world in which we were living. That is why Donald Trump went down there multiple times in the last 24, 48 hours of the campaign. And it clearly did not happen for Kamala Harris. And Trump, he's telling his people, I'm told, and just like we heard from Caitlin, that this is something that portends well for the future. We don't know what it means for the other states, but what we do know is it's even more evidence that that blue wall is the path for Kamala Harris.
And that path is just more and more narrow, and we're seeing it as the night goes on. But also, so many people thought that perhaps this would be an election that when Senator Trump would be closer to the midterms, a big conversation about abortion. But it's not where it's going. It seems like we're seeing that male turnout is starting to produce what the campaign wants.
You know, I think a lot of us came into tonight wondering, was it going to feel more like 2016 or 2020? And 4 years ago, I was at Fox, and at almost exactly this moment, at 11:20 p.m., we made a very controversial call. They made a very controversial call of Arizona. And that changed the whole feeling. And that's one of the reasons the Trump campaign was so furious about that call, because it was the first flip and the first indication that maybe it was going to be given in 2016. Right now, and look, there's a lot of voting in country and states to be called. But right at this moment, this does feel more like 2016 than 2020.
It is interesting, and yeah, and the fact that we're calling it at this point is also significant because I don't think North Carolina was called last time 4 years ago until maybe a week after the election, or it was certainly after Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania came on Saturday. I think North Carolina was Sunday and Monday. The fact that we are making this call now suggests that there's a bigger gap than there was last time. And Donald Trump won it last time by something like 75,000 votes.
Generally speaking, he is overperforming what he did in 2020, and she is underperforming what Joe Biden did in 2020, and that ends up with was a narrow edge for Biden. Is at this point, like we have to condition it, a narrow defeat for Harris.
And the thing about North Carolina, and John has been talking about this, and we'll do more at the wall, is you do have kind of a sense of the country in the state of North Carolina, in that there are growing minority populations, and there is a growing sort of suburban, maybe more moderate population in and around the big cities. And so that is why the Harris campaign thought, with the dynamics of the country right now, that she would have a better shot. But look, the headwinds of the economy, the inflation that people are feeling, the difficulty in their everyday lives.
Yeah, she could not outrun that economy.
Yeah, and the economy, first, that is what people are feeling every single day. And we were talking earlier about whether or not the sort of women and the idea of this being the first post-Roe presidential campaign was going to supersede how people felt when they were buying eggs and milk. And certainly North Carolina and other places that we are seeing start to formulate in these other states.
You know, we had talked about it all night. We disagreed to a certain degree about the right track, wrong track, and it was 27% right track, 60-something% wrong track. Maybe part of that is dissatisfaction with Trump, maybe some of that is dissatisfaction with the abortion overturn. But in terms of what people live every day, it's the economy, it's the price of eggs, it's the fear of inflation, with the spread of illegal immigrants north is now being felt as an issue, not just on the border, but in northern states as well.
And Jake, I'm going to be interested to figure out, to find out some of the details, how much success the Trump campaign had in increasing their share of the mail vote. They worked really hard at that.
Yeah, very interesting. Let's bring you a key racial alert and get you up to speed on where we are in all the states that we have not called. In Battleground, Pennsylvania, Donald Trump with 51.3%, Kamala Harris 47.6%. Donald Trump more than 212,000 votes ahead, with 82% of the estimated vote in from the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. In Battleground, Michigan, Donald Trump in the lead, 51.2%, Kamala Harris at 47%, Donald Trump at 98,014 votes ahead of Kamala Harris, with 41% of the estimated vote in from Michigan. In Battleground, Wisconsin, Donald Trump in the lead, 50.7%. To Harris's 47.7%. Donald Trump with a 68,000 plus vote lead over Harris, with 71% of the estimated vote in from the Badger State. In Battleground, Georgia, Donald Trump up 50.8% to Harris's 48.3%. Donald Trump with 128,582 more votes than Kamala Harris, with 92% of the estimated vote counted in the state of Georgia. In the state of Arizona, another battleground, Donald Trump in the lead there. 49.8% to Harris's 49.3%. Donald Trump with a 7,588 vote lead over Kamala Harris. That's with more than half, 52% of the estimated vote in. In Nevada, Donald Trump in the lead, 73%. Kamala Harris with 26.2%. Donald Trump with a 10,985 vote lead over Harris. That's with only 2% of the vote in from Nevada, only 2%. Boris Sanchez now has some new projections in the fight for control of the U.S. Senate.
Jake, a major moment for Republicans. They have just flipped. They were expected to flip their second Democratic seat of the night. This one coming in Ohio. There, Republican Bernie Moreno defeating incumbent Democrat Sherrod Brown. Moreno, the owner of some luxury car dealerships, who invested early in blockchain technology, fought to attach Brown to the Biden administration more broadly, specifically on issues like immigration. Sherrod Brown, a populist who has survived some difficult tests in this state before, cannot overcome the political headwinds he's facing. Donald Trump has now won Ohio 3 elections in a row, and simply too much for the incumbent Democrats to overcome. So we're projecting that Bernie Moreno is the new junior senator from the Buckeye State. Meantime, 4 Democratic polls. The first one, the historic one in New Jersey, where Congressman Andy Flynn is set to become the first Korean American ever to serve in the U.S. Senate. He defeats real estate tycoon Curtis Bashar. Meantime, in Virginia, there is one Democratic senator, a former vice presidential candidate. He's projected to defeat Glenn Powell, a former Navy captain. Another Democratic thing to tell you about this one. Martin Heinrich, the incumbent senator there, seeking his 3rd term. He defeats Nella Dominici, whose father was the last Republican senator elected in New Mexico some 20 years ago. Another Democratic thing to project for them. This one coming in the state of Washington. Their Democratic incumbent senator, Maria Cantwell, wins her 5th term as she defeats Raul Garcia and E.R. Doctor. Now, what does that pickup in Ohio mean for the magic number? We started out tonight with Republicans needing to pick up 2 Democratic seats to take control of the chamber with West Virginia and Ohio. They would pick 2, and now they're seeking to pad those numbers. Currently, as we speak, Republicans are leading in 4 seats currently held by Democrats. Let's get you an update on where those are right now with some key race alerts. These are live results coming into CNN. We start with the state of Wisconsin. There, the CEO of California-based SunWest Bank, Eric Hovde, is 29,000 votes ahead of Democratic incumbent Senator Tammy Baldwin, receiving her 3rd term in office. 70% of the voter. We just got an update. The lead pretty much the same in Wisconsin for Hovde. In Pennsylvania, this has been going back and forth all night. But right now, the former CEO of one of the largest hedge funds in the world, David McCormick, currently leads incumbent Democratic Senator Bob Casey by about 120,000 votes. Still a very close race. This was also a very expensive one. 81% of the voting in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Now, a few races from the state of Michigan. This one has been close all night as well. Former Republican Congressman Mike Robbins currently leading current Democratic Congressman Alyssa Slotkin 48,000 votes. Rogers ahead of Slotkin 40% of the voting in the Wolverine state. So let's take a look at the balance of power in the U.S. Senate. The raw numbers. What does this mean? Democrats hold 40 seats. Republicans, with those two pickups, hold 49, 11 seats remaining to be determined. Jake, obviously, you need 51 for control the chamber.
All right, Morris, thanks so much. And CNN can make a projection. CNN projects that Washington State, as expected, will go to Kamala Harris. Washington State with its 12 electoral votes to the Democrat, Vice President Kamala Harris. Governor electoral votes right now, Donald Trump has 227 electoral votes. Kamala Harris has 165 electoral votes. 270 are needed to win. We are waiting for more votes in the big three blue wall battlegrounds of Pennsylvania and Michigan and Wisconsin that both campaigns are watching very closely right now. A total of 6 top battlegrounds remain undecided as we get later into this election night. Stay right here for the next big rollout of votes. Right now, we're going to squeeze in a quick break. Stay with us.
Step into a space where luxury finds grace. A realm where time's waiting space with vertical boutiques and green. Every moment unfolds like a dream. Breathtaking lobbies, corridors with flair, world-class fitness, a retreat beyond compare. Ascend to homes where elegance thrives, a sanctuary where true beauty lies. From observation decks to viewing charts, these 7-star havens, life's lonely stars, holiday homes, penthouses that touch the sky, a lifestyle of grandeur, and dreamless soaring high. As day turns to night, and moonlight reveals, in this city of marvels, where horizons expand, every day becomes a journey so grand. Urge is easy, amazing, on every level.
November 18th.
I'm venturing across the globe to see how these new weight loss medications are transforming lives and disrupting the industry.
These drugs are very effective, but they're not going to be for everyone. Is Ozempic right for you? Monday, November 18th on CNN.
When you travel the world, make sure the world travels with you. Check in, log on, and get connected with all of the latest developments at your fingertips. CNN Partner Hotels, connecting to your world.
I'm Mrs. Suarez in London, and this is CNN.
And CNN has another projection for you. CNN projects that Donald Trump will win 3 out of the 5 electoral votes from the state of Nebraska. Allow me a second to explain. Nebraska and Maine allocate their electoral votes
partly in addition to the statewide free votes according to congressional district. That's already too complicated, probably. Anyway, put it this way. Donald Trump has won 3 out of 5 electoral votes. The other 2 we do not know yet. Donald Trump has 3 out of 5. That means 3 more electoral votes for Donald Trump. And what does that mean for the electoral map? Donald Trump has 230 electoral votes. He is 40 electoral votes away from winning. Kamala Harris has 165 electoral votes. She is 105 electoral votes away from winning. Let's see what the states we have not called where their vote counts are. Pennsylvania. Donald Trump is in the lead there with 51.2% of the vote. Kamala Harris has 47.7% of the vote. Donald Trump is ahead of her by more than 206,000 votes. That's with 83% of the estimated vote. That's Pennsylvania. Battleground, Michigan. Donald Trump up 51.3% of the vote. Kamala Harris has 46.9% of the vote. Donald Trump with a more than 111,000 vote lead with an estimated 44% of the vote in from Michigan. Wisconsin now, Donald Trump in the lead there too. 50.8% of the vote. Kamala Harris is 47.6% of the vote. Donald Trump almost 80,000 votes ahead of her with 3/4 of the vote, 74% of the estimated vote from that state in. Battleground, Georgia, Donald Trump is up 15.7%. Kamala Harris is 48.4%. Donald Trump more than 118,000 votes ahead of her with an estimated 93% of the estimated vote in. Arizona, Donald Trump is ahead there too with 49.8% of the vote. Kamala Harris has 49.3% of the vote. He is more than 7,500 votes ahead of her right now, but they still have about 48% of the vote to count, 52% of the estimated vote in. In Nevada, Donald Trump is in the lead with 73% of the vote. Kamala Harris has 26.2% of the vote. Donald Trump has a more than 10,000 vote, almost 11,000 vote lead. That is with only 2% of the estimated vote in. As we follow these crucial undecided races, we are already also getting closer to another poll vote. 4 more electoral votes to the next hour in the heat of the battle to reach 270. So every electoral vote counts. We're just minutes away from voting ending in the reliable blue state of Hawaii. Over to John King down in National Park. John.
Okay, a quick look. We're just looking at them very quickly. These 3 states, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, will determine the fate of the Harris campaign. Whether there's any chance that she can come back. As we wait to see those results, I just want to show you something. Bring it up. Remember January 6th. Donald Trump is finished. Even Republicans are running against Donald Trump. Donald Trump is done as a national politician. I want to show you something. This is Trump overperforming his 2020 performance by 3% or more. Right? This is state level. We're not done with some of these counts back here, but this will change a little bit. But Donald Trump overperforming 2020 after January 6, 2021. That's the state level. Look at this. Just look at this when you go to full count. Look at how many counties across America, 994 of the 4,000 plus, 2,600 plus counties and townships, especially up this way, part of the country, they don't call counties, they call townships, plus we only have 993 right now. This will change as we go through, but Donald Trump is overperforming. And look at where they are. He's mostly performing in red areas. His vote is getting higher in the areas that he wins elections. Yes, there are some blue places where he's overperforming, but just look at Battleground, Pennsylvania. Look at all these red counties, places that Trump wins, where he's overperformed by 3% or more when he did in 2020. Then you come out here, let's go up to Battleground, Michigan. These are the decisive states left on the board right now. Look at the areas, those are his base areas. He's getting more. The same over here in Battleground, Wisconsin. So the former President of the United States, given up the dead, say, after January 6, 2021, he's running stronger now than he did in the last campaign.
All right, John King, thank you so much. Every electoral vote counts, and 4 more are on the line right now as polling places are about to close in Hawaii, and we project Kamala Harris will win the state of Hawaii with its 4 electoral votes. Not a surprise, Hawaii relied on the Democratic vote, but that doesn't mean a pickup of 4 electoral votes for Kamala Harris. Donald Trump has 230. He is 40 votes away from winning. Kamala Harris has 169 electoral votes. She is 101 votes away from the 270 you need to win. John King.
Okay, let's look at the map where we are right now, and then we'll go through some of these battleground states where we're still waiting. But just look at the map right now. So let's look at the 2020 map. You see the blue, right? The blue wall states, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, right? Now watch. This is where we are now. 2024 looks a lot different than 2020. But at the moment, it looks pretty similar to 2016. Donald Trump won the blue wall, Donald Trump won North Carolina, Donald Trump won Georgia, Donald Trump won Arizona. The only difference would be Hillary Clinton in 2016 didn't carry Nevada. Donald Trump leads there right now when we come back to 2024. But it's just, sorry, 2024, we'll come up here, do this, you go there, at 2024. So that's the one, it's just a dramatic change when you come here. And so Donald Trump is remaking the map again at the moment. And the question is there any way for Harris to come back? Again, we've given Donald Trump North Carolina. So let's see where we are in Georgia. If Donald Trump also carries Georgia, the vice president cannot afford to lose Pennsylvania. Yes, Nevada's out there, Arizona's out there, Michigan and Wisconsin are out there. 19. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So can she come back in Georgia to stop that from happening? So she's limiting her. If he wins Georgia, her path is so limited. So it's 118,000 votes right now. In a state decided 4 years ago by 11,700 votes. Donald Trump with 93%. That's an important number. The vote counted is ahead by nearly 120,000 votes. So you're looking, this is where they would have to be. You can pick up votes elsewhere, but that's where most of the votes are. That's close to half the state population, right in Atlanta, in the metropolitan area around it. So what's out there? Are there live outstanding votes out there? Well, let's take a look. The answer is yes. I'm going to bring the caller in so you don't have to see that. The answer is yes, they're out there. You're at the point now where you're talking about throwing to an inside straight flush, essentially. You need these votes to come in, get overwhelming numbers for you. But you do see, there's the mathematical possibility. This is why the Harris campaign is on the phone. This is why I assume Donald Trump has not come out yet to say anything, because he's hoping that this one comes off the board as well. You're looking at the math right there. It's possible. So we're waiting for more votes in Georgia. So then you come up, Jake, and we'll look at the blue wall states in a minute to see if any of the math is changing. But if you look at the map right now, you would so much rather be Donald Trump than the vice president.
All right, we have a projection, John. CNN project that Kamala Harris will win the county wall. What does that mean for the electoral math? Let's take a look. With 270 electoral votes needed to win, Donald Trump is only 40 behind that. With 230, Kamala Harris has 182 electoral votes. It's really a key race alert. Where are we with all the states that we have not projected yet? Pennsylvania, Donald Trump in the lead, 51.3% of the vote. Kamala Harris, 47.6% of the vote. Donald Trump has a more than 213,000 vote lead over her with 84% of the estimated vote in from Pennsylvania. In Battleground, Michigan, Donald Trump up there, 51.2% of the vote. Kamala Harris has 47% of the vote. Donald Trump with a 107,290 vote lead over Harris, but there's still about 55% of the vote that has not been counted in Michigan. A lot of votes to count in Michigan. Wisconsin now, Donald Trump 51% of the vote, Kamala Harris 47.4%. Donald Trump with a more than 92,000 vote lead over Harris. That's with more than 3/4 of the votes counted in Wisconsin, 77% of the vote. In Battleground, Georgia, Donald Trump up 50.7% to Harris's 48.4%. Donald Trump with a 118,838 vote lead over Harris, with 93% of the estimated vote in. In Battleground, Arizona, Donald Trump up 49.8% to Harris's 49.3%. Donald Trump with a 9,600 plus vote lead. That's with slightly more than half of the vote counted in Arizona, 52%. In Nevada, Donald Trump up 73% to Harris's 26.2% of the vote. Donald Trump with an almost 11,000 vote lead. But that is, again, with only 2% of the estimated vote in Nevada counted. Still a lot of votes to count in Nevada. John?
So, Jake, let's look at, right now you're looking at the big map and you're seeing all that red. Yes, Virginia is just projected for the vice president. That one's blue. I'll take a closer look in a minute at that one. So you're looking at the blue wall states. Essentially, Harrison's only path is to come back in these three states right there. I give you a conceivable possibility that she's only has to come back in two of them. But she has to come back in all three of them. They have a reasonable path to 270 electoral votes. There's a problem at the moment, 168,000 votes. A whole more votes just recently came in Philadelphia, and indeed they did. So now you're up to 76% estimate. This can change a little bit as more votes come in. But you see that, the vice president opening a healthy lead in Philadelphia, which is a building block of a Democratic win in Pennsylvania. The question is it enough? I just showed you Trump was leading. So 78%, 477,000 votes. You go back 4 years ago, it's 81%, and it's 603,000 votes. Remember that. 81 and 603. 78 and 477. Can she move both numbers up when we get the final quarter of the vote? That's the challenge, because you need that map to overcome that. 168,000 votes in a state that was decided by 80,000 votes 4 years ago and 40,000 votes 4 years before that. That is a big lead in a tight state like Pennsylvania with 85% of the vote. So you're saying, is it just Philadelphia and the suburbs where there are outstanding votes? Again, if you're joining us late, the larger the circle, the more votes that are still outstanding to be counted, the color, the way the candidate who's winning in that area at the moment. And so you've got, you'll still be right here, Philadelphia, Delaware County, Chester County, Montgomery County. There's still some math to be done there. A little bit out there in Allegheny County, where we talked to Brian Todd earlier tonight. A little bit up in Erie County, which is the swing county. Tends to be very close, though. So let's come back and look at this as we come through it. Number one, there are bellwether counties in Pennsylvania. Northampton is one of them, and Trump is winning with 52% of the vote right now. This county usually picks the winner in the state. As I say that, I'll say its twin is Erie, way over here, not twin geographically. It's twin in that they voted twice for Obama, then for Trump, then for Biden. Erie and Northampton, 2 of the 25 counties that did that. At the moment, the vice president is leading in Erie County. In the last campaign, it was Vigo County, Indiana. That streak of picking the winner went off the board. We'll see if the two swing counties in Pennsylvania split as this election goes through. But if you're looking at this map right now, 85% of the vote, it's this. That's big. So if you're looking at 50,000, 60,000, it's easier to do the math. If you're looking at 168,000, the math gets hard. Is it impossible? No. But the question is, when you start coming in here, Chester County is at 81%, large suburban counties where if you get 20 to 30% of the votes go out, you can do some big math. Montgomery County at 68%. As you can see, this is a much more populous county, so you're waiting for the 30% to come in there. The vice president would have to win it gangbusters, probably higher than the percentage he's getting so far. I just want to check it against President Biden. It's a little below President Biden. You see, it's pretty consistent when you go through some of these areas across these states. Bucks County is this one here. Yes, I'm in the right place. That's Montgomery. Oh, Bucks is pretty red. That's why I couldn't find it. Because Bucks is pretty red. Only 55% of the voted. But if this is red at the end of the night, Donald Trump's going to win the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. This is the more blue collar, the more competitive of the three collar counties. It's Bucks, Delaware, and Montgomery. Used to be, this was solidly Democratic, and the others were Republican. The education divide is flipped that way. Montgomery and Delaware are reliably given. Look at this, Donald Trump, only 55% of the voted, but look at that, 50 to 49. If you do it there, if you go back in time, 51, 48, 47. So Trump was competitive here. It was a 4-point race, a little more than that 4 years ago. But again, in a close battleground state, you want to move the margins, you flip a county. So let's see if that would vote as we go. If you're in the Harris campaign, that particularly makes you nervous. And then you come out here, and again, I just want to pick them randomly. This is where Trump just runs it out. So you're saying, can she come back in the Philadelphia suburbs, in Philadelphia? Mathematically, you can make the case. Common sense-wise, you start after a while, but then, he's getting 75% here, he's getting 78% here. It's a little bit of a vote out there, not much. Not hardly anything left there. Not much left there. But his vote is mostly in. Trump's vote is mostly in when you look at the map. But the question is there really enough there? And let's see where they are here. 94% of Allegheny County. So again, you're getting 59 to 39, 20-point gap. 20-point gap. So yeah, it's not a lot of votes for something, and they say they're at 94%. So it's not possible. I would say it's probably something that can be probable. And let's go over into Michigan. This is the state where the vice president was leading early on, then Donald Trump took the lead. He takes the lead sometimes in these states when all these rural counties go there. Look at them all. But again, you just find him, and he's at 67% here, and he's at 65% here. He's at 66% plus there. Not a lot of people, but when you've got 83 counties, and you're winning 60 or 70 of them, that's how it works. And he builds it up there. And then the question is, can the Democrats overcome it with huge numbers where the people live? Number one, Wayne County, we're still only at 16%. So if you're in the Harris campaign, you say, okay, we have almost nothing, less than 20% from Detroit. So she's getting 62%. He has 88,000 votes. Which, if you go back to 2020, again, when Donald Trump won Michigan, he's getting 68, and he gets close to 600,000 votes. So that's sort of our test. When Wayne County gives us more votes, we get a huge number like that, and there's the split. Donald Trump at 30%, that's Detroit and the suburbs around it. Donald Trump right now, it's only 20%, less than 20%, 16%, so good. But if he's even above 30, right? Anything he's above 30 is an improvement for him. And so, you can't see it all on this map, you have to get more granular. But Detroit, is he doing better? Is Trump doing better? Who's right? Or is overall turnout maybe down from 2020? That's a big question too. And then here, you have Hamtramck and you have Dearborn. They're not on the map, but they're right here. Those are two very important pockets of Arab American voters that were 200,000 plus voted for Joe Biden 4 years ago. We don't know. We don't have that very in detail just yet, but that was one of the big questions in the campaign. Spent a lot of time on my trips at Wayne State campus, younger voters, a lot of Arab American students at Wayne State, a lot of young progressive students at Wayne State. Did they lose the youth vote there? Other questions. I'm raising questions that we'll answer in more detail tomorrow and next week and the week after that. We have final results, but if you're 158,000 votes ahead, only halfway in Michigan, I mean, I hate to say it, but you're looking at this, and like, that's the best of the three blue walls.
Let's go to Wayne County right now. Let's go to Detroit. We'll find Jim Shudo as an update on the vote count there. Jim?
Jake, there have been a lot of questions and some consternation as to why we haven't seen more data from Wayne County yet. I just spoke with the Secretary of State, Jocelyn Benson, and we believe we have the answer here. I asked her quite specifically. And she said the reason is that Wayne County, in part, given all the scrutiny on this county as it impacts the outcome of the election in this state, is not reporting partial results. It's waiting until it has either all or the vast majority of those results in before it, in effect, gives that patch and makes it public. And I just want to highlight one point that's going to happen in the next hour, perhaps even in the next few minutes. A nondescript U-Haul van is going to drive in one of these doors behind me here with the last remaining outstanding absentee ballots in Detroit, part of Wayne County. About 4,000 we expect. That's the final batch, not just, we are told, of absentee ballots outstanding, but the final outstanding votes in Detroit, a part of Wayne County. So when that truck comes through the door, they begin to tabulate those. That gets us to the point where they're going to have, in effect, all the votes they need to count and get to that point where they're going to be ready to report those final figures. We were told it could be in the next few minutes. We'll be watching. We'll report back when it happens. But that could be the point when you get that big batch reported publicly.
All right, Jim Shudo in Detroit, Wayne County. And you were noting that we don't have Wayne County to the granular level, that we can't see Dearborn and other places where there were a lot of uncommitted votes during the Democratic primary. But just to remind our viewers, during the Democratic primaries, there was a protest of President Biden's support for the Netanyahu government of Israel and its war on Hamas in Gaza. 100,000 Democrats voted uncommitted, presumably most of them as a protest vote against Biden for that issue.
Yes, absolutely. And most of them were located here in Wayne County. Again, Detroit, progressive city, but also Hamtramck and Dearborn, which is to the north, which is to the west. North Boston, American communities there. They're very angry at the White House. And then the next one, we come out here again. This is Washington County, where I've been four times, maybe 5 times, no, 4. In this election, we go to the University of Michigan and talk to people out there. And again, we're at 71% right now, so the numbers can change, but she's at 66%. This is Ann Arbor, University of Michigan. Again, it's a big college campus. It tends to be a very liberal pocket, progressive pocket. You say, wow, 65% of votes, 66 if you round up, that's great.
Oh my God.
73%. And the math, 157,000. It's 100. Again, we got 30% of the votes still to come in, and maybe the percentages change as well. Maybe all the votes that are out are from the campus, and it juices up the number a little bit. But if you're looking at that now, you're underperforming the President of the United States, and Donald Trump's at 32% and 26%. If that gap holds, and if his improvement like that holds, I'm sorry, go ahead. That's a big deal.
Well, I was just going to say, one of the things you hear from the Arab American and Muslim American community in places like Michigan is not that they were going to vote for Donald Trump, but they either were not going to vote or they were going to vote for Jill Stein or Cornel West. I'm not sure if Cornel West was on the ballot in Michigan, but these numbers don't add up to 100 here, so I'm guessing that there is a better than, my guess would be, there's going to be a better than average showing for Jill Stein in Michigan than in other states.
Right, and she worked hard. She was out there quite a bit. Every trip I was out there, you saw activity that she did in the state or just in the state.
Yeah. So just to explain it. Now, one of the other things I heard about people talking about Michigan is everybody in the media, all you talk about is the Arab American vote, but really the issue in terms of the big sizable, bigger chunk of votes is white working class voters, union voters, because the Trump campaign ran ads slamming Harris's position on electric vehicles, EVs, and that is actually going to be more significant. Ultimately, that was, this is just their projection, than the Arab American, Muslim American vote. Is there any way we can gauge that, how well a coalition did compared to Biden when it comes to white, non-college educated union voters?
David would have the exit polls. If you look at union households, that's a question on the exit polls. I can show you some counties where we were. 3 times I went out there and talked to union auto worker groups. And I want to just say this up front. There are more automobile manufacturing jobs in the United States today than at any point during the Trump presidency. I repeat, there are more auto manufacturing jobs in the United States today than at any point in the Trump presidency. However, the EV debate is a debate. Stellantis just laid off 1,100 people, in part because they say they have electric vehicles sitting on the lot. The union says that's BS, it's corporate greed, they're not keeping their word, but this is a conversation. Are they going too fast? At a minimum, are they going too fast? There are some auto workers who say, why are you forcing this on us? There are others saying, the infrastructure's not in place, culturally people aren't ready for it, why are you going so fast? So one of the places you'll find that is right here, in Macomb County. We've had Joseph Knowles, just laid off from Stellantis, a black union auto worker. No one in his family ever voted Republican for president. He was voting for Donald Trump. Everybody in his family was mad at him. This is where you find him right here. Bill Govier is a Ford worker in Macomb County who wanted to vote for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. When he dropped out to back Trump, Bill Govier said, that's great, I love the vote, and he voted for Trump a 3rd time. So some of them have been in Trump's camp, like Bill Govier. And Joseph Knowles is a +1, voted Democrat all his life, right? So there in Macomb County, we've got a long way to go here, 36%. But Trump at 58, when you round that up, with Trump at 53, right there. So again, we'll see if that sustains itself. Yeah. And the Biden number at 45, the Harris number at 40. If that's the number at the end, then it's really.
Yeah. Well, there you go. And you can see why not all of that changes from that one issue or that one Democrat I described, but that is quite significant if it holds. Let's go to Pamela Brown. At the voting desk, let's jump to Wisconsin if we could, because Pamela wants to talk about Milwaukee and what's going on there.
Yeah, I've been talking to officials there, Milwaukee County as well as the city. Let's look at Milwaukee County right now. A large portion of the vote that remains is from Milwaukee City itself. This is the largest county, this is the largest city in Wisconsin. According to a source in Milwaukee County, 9 out of 19 municipalities are to be reported, and the source also says that the county clerk there expects all results from Milwaukee County to be reported between 2 and 4 a.m. tonight, Central Time. So these results coming in overnight there from Milwaukee County. That is the expectation. Now, let's dive in here to the Milwaukee City. I just spoke to an official there. Milwaukee City has 27,724 mail-in ballots left to be counted so far. In addition, officials are still waiting for results from 4 wards still, and going to be the day of vote, so from the day, from election day. So there's still quite a bit to go to count tonight there in Milwaukee City. For contrast, 69% were provided in 2020. And as I mentioned, this is the largest county in Wisconsin, so we're keeping a close eye on this.
All right, Pamela, thanks so much. Let's take a look at Wisconsin as long as Pamela drove us here.
So a critical point she makes, 4 wards in the city of Milwaukee still have not reported their election day votes. And again, anecdotally, we texted people out and they said turnout was good. They were saying great, again, they're saying good. So we wait. But again, so we're waiting for the city. This is Milwaukee plus the suburbs around it, the county is what you see here. But she's at 66%, and Joe Biden's at 69%. So when those city of Milwaukee votes come in, that not only does that percentage need to move, but that math will change quite significantly if you're trying to make up that. Now, 96,000, that's better than 150,000, right? Simple math, people. We always say politics can be very complicated. Sometimes it comes down to basic arithmetic. Are there enough votes still out there to overcome a 96,000 vote lead? And so Pam says 4 big wards are still out in Milwaukee City, and a little bit more in Milwaukee County. The answer is maybe. Right? Again, you're getting to the point where you're drawing to an inside straight flush, but maybe. So then you look around other Democratic areas, and again, Eau Claire is getting 55% of the vote. I just want to compare that. That's okay, a little better maybe. But it's not a ton of people there. When you swing anyway, so even if you pick up some votes, you're not picking up a ton there. So if you're looking at this map now, this one checks all sorts of percentages here, 95% in Dane County, and these other three counties around it, I'll hit them for you. You just see they're pretty small population-wise. They're not tiny, but again, you're at 95% Rock County, 95% Greene County, 92% Lafayette County. That one is a little bit smaller. So again, the map's getting really hard if you're trying to figure out comparing back to Wisconsin. And I would say simply that it comes down to that, and those Milwaukee precincts that are out, that'll be getting us.
May I do a personal prerogative? May I see the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania? We haven't checked in there in a while. That's obviously a place near and dear to my heart. And I have questions about it. One of them is Allentown, which is blue right now. Allentown, the city of Allentown is 54% Latino. 54%, and Pennsylvania, as we've discussed, has the third largest Puerto Rican population on the mainland, behind only New York and New York and Florida. So, my question is, how is she doing in this Latino area compared to Joe Biden 4 years ago?
Again, cannot compare with the city of Allentown. Look at Lehigh County here, right? And I can already tell you, 51 to 48, you were Trump campaign, sure, you'd like to win it. But you're looking at 48% of Lehigh County, and you're feeling pretty good. Because you were 46 last time. But again, within the Battleground state, margins within the margins. Battleground within the Battleground. So, yeah, Joe Biden at 53% with 98,000 votes. The Vice President at 50% with 93,000 votes. Now, we're not completely done yet, but that 5,000 votes makes a big difference. It just does. But, so, and that's there, right? So then you come out here, and you come up, just move on up, right? Carbon County, even as Trump getting 73% of the vote, he's improved. That's why he's overperformed himself. And then you move up here, this is Lackawanna County, spread in Pennsylvania, Joe Biden's hometown. It's a tough competitive blue-collar area, but 51 to 48 now. 54 to 49. Not that move back, 4%. Right. It would be the whole thing. A couple thousand votes here, a couple thousand votes there. I want to show you, by the way, Erie is not close.
Erie, which has always voted with the presidential victor in Pennsylvania and nationally, is now.
Let's flip it. Let's see what the turnout is there. Again, it's one of the 25. They're at 95%. It's very close, but it's always very close. So you see Erie County very close there. And I just want to come across the state, Northampton County. So you're on the Buffalo, New York border, and here's New Jersey here. You've got 52 to 47 there. Not done yet, but the two multi-pivot counties. Twice for Obama, then for Trump, then for Biden. At the moment, they're going back to Trump. I just want to show one more thing we haven't shown tonight. I just want to bring this up. It's not here. It is here. It is here. Sorry. I will figure this out eventually. I promise you. It's got too many details. Just want to come in here. Come on. I'll show you this. So, let's go at national effect. Everyone's been talking all night long about the headlines. There'll be a lot of questions asked about this after the fact. This is not a good environment for any incumbent. Kamala Harris is the incumbent vice president. What this shows you is not votes. This shows you the darker the county, the more that county has been hit by inflation. Meaning, the darker the county, the more cost of living, energy prices, gas prices, housing prices in a lot of places have outpaced wage increases. Right? Try to find me. See the green?
Yeah, what does that mean?
That's the county where your wages have outpaced inflation. You can use a hand. You will fill one hand in the more than 4,000 counties and townships in the United States. You use one hand to fill out the counties where wages have outpaced inflation.
So can I make some observations?
So I just want to come back into your comment.
Oh my goodness.
I want to come back into your comment. The darker the county, the more punishing, the more inflation has outpaced your wages.
Yeah.
Your cost of living. And just what? I mean, the fact that she's doing as well in the suburbs is a testament to the Democratic strength there. But you see in these other places, it's just, that was the headwind. And that came up, I can tell you, I was on the road for 15 months, and that came up. From the first trip to the last trip, even for people voting for Harris, even for people laughing and proudly voting for Harris, who say, it still sucks when I go to the grocery store.
Yeah, and that's also why, the right track, wrong track numbers are 75%, wrong track 25, but the election's not 75%, 25, because there are people who think it's the wrong track, but they're still going to vote for the Democrat. Yet, this is difficult to fight against if you're in the incumbent.
That's North Carolina. Especially you're trying to win back.
All the dark colors in Arizona.
It gets worse as you go west. That's what I was going to say. And you're in Georgia. Look, this is the Atlanta suburbs, right? It's just a little tiny bit, right? Look down here. here. These are working class people. And then you're absolutely right. Then you come out here. When you look at in Arizona, that's Maricopa County. That's the largest county. Up here is the two Democratic areas.
He's winning Maricopa County.
He's at the, well, that's just it. Let's see. Let's come up there. It's close. That's that on close skill. It has to have. You can bring that up. And then you come here. This to me, of all the visits, you want to talk to a place that still has the total body moves unemployment at 30%, twice the national average. And then the cost of living. I mean, look at it right there. Where, you know, again, the darker the county, the more they have here is housing. More than anything. Housing in Vegas. A lot of people rent. There's not a lot of land to build new houses. So the rents go up. And once the COVID moratorium, rent increases went up, rents went up through the shoots. And a lot of working-class people out there complaining about that. And so
I wasn't done with Pennsylvania, but hold on, Pamela, we're going to go to Pennsylvania because Pamela's, I'm going to go to Pamela. She has some information on Georgia, if you could. There you go. Pamela, what do you got for us in Georgia?
This is important information in Georgia. I'm getting from Gabriel Sterling, the top election official there. The margin right now in Georgia is 118,000 votes, right? 100,000 votes are outstanding right now. This is what I'm being told from Gabriel Sterling. Now, he said the split will go marginally for Harris. So let's break down what we know about where some of that outstanding vote is. Chatham, 40,000 outstanding, I'm told. This is a county that went to Biden in 2020. Carroll, outstanding, 18,000. This is a county that went to Trump in 2020. And then you have the blue counties of DeKalb and Fulton. DeKalb has 3,000 outstanding ballots. Fulton has 2,000 outstanding ballots. Again, just to recap, tight margin, 118,000, 100,000 votes still out in Georgia. And Gabriel Sterling says it's the split coming from that would be marginally, his prediction is for Harris. But this is what the data coming in is showing right now. Back to you.
John, do you have any questions for Pamela?
You say the total outstanding votes is 100,000?
He said 100,000 votes out. Yep.
Oh.
And so I just gave you a little snapshot of where some of those places are. Chatham, Carroll, I asked, when are we going to find out these results from these counties? He did not have a timeline exactly for that, but hopefully soon.
But the significance, obviously, that Donald Trump right now has a margin of 118,000, 138 votes. He's saying there's 100,000 left.
He's being literal. Sometimes they're getting calls from counties and they say 20,000 in 2022.
John,
yes, please.
actually, we asked about how do you know these numbers, and actually by law they have to have the actual numbers. So I understand your point, but I think they do have more precise numbers based on what the law requires.
Well, then that math and software through the Harris campaign.
Yeah.
That is literal. Even if she won them all, there's 100,000 left, right? And she won them all, and she won't. She's 180,000.
She said marginally for Harris, which means probably like 53, 47 or something along those lines. Interesting. We'll have a decision desk talking with people in Georgia. Can I go back to Pennsylvania just for 1 second? I want to look at Philly for a second because it was so important. It's so important for every Democrat to drive up the margins here. Harris is with 78% reporting. Harris is at 78.1%. Donald Trump's 20%. We've already talked about this. This is a better performance by Donald Trump than in 2020 and also in 2016.
So watch where he is, right? If you look at it either way, he's at 18%, now he's about 20%. If you go all the way back in time, when he won the state, he was at 15%. The third-party candidates matter a little bit there. There's more statewide than they did Philadelphia, but a little bit. So look at, just track Donald Trump in Philadelphia, right? Philadelphia. 15%. And 108,000 votes in 2016, 18%, 132,000 votes in 2020. We're not quite done in 2024, but it's a lower vote count. So it's the margins. Yeah, because we're not 100 yet, it's got. Yeah. If he keeps that number, he said that's going to pass the last one. Absolutely. The margins, again, she's at 78%. And there are some places that are swing counties and you're fighting to move them. When you're starting to plan to run for president, and you know how deep Trump support is across Pennsylvania, you know you have to do it here. You just have to fact. It's math. I mean, 30% of the state population lives right here. Yep. Okay, so if you're going to offset that, you just got to run it up. You just got to run it up here. And she's at 78%. He was at 81%. This will be the conversation. If this plays out the way it's going right now, this will be the conversation in the Democratic Party is what's happening in North America, both in terms of the numbers, the turnout, the math, and the percentage.
So, I read this in the exit poll, and this is whoever is listening to me or listening to us, County, whatever, if I get this wrong, or if there's been an updated number, please let me know. But it said, black men in Pennsylvania, in 2020, 10% went for Trump. In 2024, 25% went for Trump. Black men in Pennsylvania, more than double for Trump.
But if that number's true, I mean, after every election, you have a conversation, right? After 2016, it was what happened to Democrats. I mean, it was all right.
Right.
Put on steroids, you have no problem. Like, people over here. And now I would say, take the white out of that. Take the white out.
It's just
the gains among black men, the gains among Latino men are among people who work with their hands, who have been punished. The conversations that strike me for 15 months on the road is, you know, I could afford a new car, but then if any prices go up, I can't take that money back. I cannot, there's no way. So you're asking your mechanic, can I keep this thing on the road? And your Christmas time, you're telling your kids, we're getting one gift, not two. Or we're going to try to go to Disneyland, but we're not going to.
Yeah.
We're going to go to the amusement park, you know, it's a couple hours away by car, but we're not going to Disneyland or some big thing like that. These are the conversations you're having in state after state after state with people who have working class jobs. And some of them, I mean, union auto workers, you know, they think that's a good middle class job. Union auto workers who get the employee discount, you can get truck and financing, saying, I'm not going to take the risk of buying a new truck. I'm going to keep this older one on the road because I just can't do that on the family budget. I can't do it.
Yeah, back to Caitlin Collins from HQ in West Palm Beach, Florida. Caitlin, what are you learning right now about the former president's plans this evening?
Well, Jake, you know, we've been waiting to hear whether or not he was actually going to come here to the convention center. And just right now, right home, there are two separate parties happening right now. A watch party here where I am at the convention center in West Palm Beach, Florida, and then Donald Trump was also having an event at his Mar-a-Lago club surrounded by Republican allies, major donors, people like Elon Musk and RFK Jr. But we are now hearing from sources that Donald Trump is making plans to come over here. Obviously, they have to prepare the motorcade for him to get into to take about a 10-minute drive over here where the convention center is. But Jake, that is a sign of how good the Trump campaign is feeling based on the numbers that John King just read there. Donald Trump is preparing to come over here. He said earlier he had no speech plan. We'll see what he says when he's here. Kristen Holmes, we've been watching all of this. And obviously, the Trump team has been watching the breakdown here of how he's been doing with certain demographics, and how he's improving from where his standing was actually in 2020, certainly in 2016.
Yeah, and we were told that that was what they were seeing in internal polling, but of course, given what we were seeing and people were talking to on the ground, we had to wait and see how it played out. And I just want to add to what Donald Trump is doing right now, because we were told that while he was over at Mar-a-Lago, essentially, this was a watch party, that was a dinner, they had giant screens, and the plan was always that if Donald Trump was going to come over, they would have bring those members that were there at Mar-a-Lago over here, and I am told that currently, those members are being bussed over here, meaning that Donald Trump's arrival is likely imminent. Now, all of those members are obviously going to have to be in place as we before. It's kind of sparse here, there's not a lot of people. They're expecting over 100 people to be bussed over here. Those people are going to have to be in place before Donald Trump takes the stage, because these are going to be some of his biggest fans. They're going to want to fill the crowd here. But now they're coming over, so that gives you a little bit of a timeline of when we see Donald Trump moving from Mar-a-Lago to here. As we know, this room is about to fill up pretty quickly, probably within the next half hour.
Yeah, and of course the big question is what he's going to say. Obviously, he wouldn't come here likely and not take the stage. That's behind us. It's already been snowing. His supporters will be waiting to see what they say. Jake, obviously something that we've been watching closely as ever since a few hours ago when those Virginia numbers were coming in. That was what first gave that sense of confidence to the Trump campaign. Obviously, that has only continued to grow ever since seeing the calls in North Carolina, how well these Republican Senate candidates are doing also, and those numbers there in Pennsylvania, Jake.
All right, Kevin, thanks so much. As we prepare for what we think is going to happen, Mr. Trump coming out and speaking, it is a good moment for us just to take a measure of where the night is at this moment. We're still, of course, waiting to call several battleground states, 6 out of 7 of them. But Chris, right now, I think it's fair to say anybody watching would rather be Donald Trump than Kamala Harris at this moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, if he declares victory, he hasn't won the race yet. There is still a potential path to 270 electoral votes. None of the blue wall states have been called. If he says the trends are looking very good tonight, you can't argue with that.
And CNN can project that Georgia will go to Donald Trump. Georgia, a very highly contested battleground of 16 electoral votes. This is the second of 7 battleground states that we have called, and both of them have been for Donald Trump. Let's take a look at what that means for the electoral math. Donald Trump right now has 246 electoral votes. Kamala Harris right now has 182 electoral votes. There are 270 needed to win. As of right now, CNN is not ready to project who is going to win the presidency, but, I'm sorry, so we interrupted. Donald Trump has now been projected to have won the second of 7 key battleground states, with 5 more to go. And obviously, the blue wall states, as you were saying, are crucial.
And this is a flip, because in 2020, Joe Biden won. Now, despite the fact that Donald Trump tried really hard to find those 11,000 plus votes, they weren't there. And this time around, the projection that he just made is that they are there, plus, who knows however many votes there are. So this is even more evidence why we heard the Harris campaign manager, Jen Dillon, say to reporters, maybe an hour or 2 ago, that the Sun Belt is basically gone, and they're looking at the blue wall, and they're still insisting that it is possible, but this is, again, a very, very bad news for...
Yeah, I mean, we went into the night with a lot of people talking about a potential realignment with both parties, who would be the mix of people in each coalition, but it's actually pretty close to what we know in the past. You have white women voters with no college degree voting for Trump in our exit polls. Similarly, with Latino men also voting very heavily for Trump in our exit polls. So there's this sense that, people did not necessarily go into the ballot box and secretly vote for someone else. The people who in the past voted for Trump came home to Trump.
People will be going through these exit polls, the analysis, and what worked for Trump and didn't work for Harris. On gender, back in 2020, Biden won women by 7 points more than Trump won men. This time it's exactly even. Harris won women by 10 points. Trump won men by 10 points. But the one that just stands out, sort of a flashing light, Jay, Hispanic. Biden won Hispanics 4 years ago by 32 points. As of tonight, Harris has won Hispanic by 8 points.
Can I just add one other thing about what this Georgia projection means? What it means is that she's got to win Pennsylvania. If she doesn't win Pennsylvania, it's over.
Yeah, no, absolutely, especially with the fact that he is leading right now in the 5 battleground states that we have not called. He is leading in all 5 of them: Nevada, Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Donald Trump widened his lead in the race between 7 electoral votes with this new win. In Georgia, ballots are, of course, still being counted in these crucial battlegrounds. We're going to be reporting on those at one time. We're going to squeeze in a quick break. We'll be right back.
With Turkish land, to feel welcome, and to feel refreshed, to discover unforgettable flavors, to reach new heights of happiness, to connect to a journey that's perfect because of you.
The challenges we face in the world grow more complex every day. There are no simple solutions where nature is concerned. We embrace the complexity. We integrate in order to innovate, so nature and technology can work in unity. Engineering solutions for a complex world. IHI.
When you travel the world, make sure the world travels with you. Check in, log on, and get connected with all of the latest developments at your fingertips. CNN Partner Hotels, connecting to your life.
Innovations for the future.
Business trends of the present.
Distinctive traditions from the past.
Meet the alligators, nations emerging and established markets.
Who will stand up to the competition?
What will attract new industry consumers?
Where will productivity hit a new level?
And how will it impact the global economy? Join me, Kristen Estelle.
And me, Mark Stewart, on Marketplace Asia.
Sunday on CNN.
I'm Max Foster in London, and this is CNN.
It is election night in America, and let us bring you back to where we are right now with 270 electoral votes needed to win. Donald Trump is in the lead with 246. Kamala Harris is at 182. There are still 5 battleground states that remain uncalled by CNN. Let us go and look at where they are. Pennsylvania, Donald Trump in the lead with 50.8% of the vote. Kamala Harris with 48.1% of the vote. Donald Trump has more than 165,000 vote lead. Let's go to Kamala Harris headquarters right now. Let's listen in.
Good evening to HU. I want to say good evening to all of the Harris campaign, the campaign family. Thank you for all that you have done. Thank you for being here. Thank you for believing in the promise of America. We still have votes to count. We still have states that have not been called yet. We will continue overnight to fight to make sure that every vote is counted, that every voice has spoken. So you won't hear from the Vice President tonight, but you will hear from her tomorrow. She will be back here tomorrow to address not only the HU family, not only to address her supporters, but to address the nation. So thank you. We believe in you. May God bless you. May God keep you. And go HU and go Harris. Thank you all.
Seth Richmond, top advisor to Kamala Harris, used to be top advisor to Joe Biden in the White House, basically telling people at Howard University, where Vice President Kamala Harris was going to have her celebration party, theoretically, that Kamala Harris is not going to come out tonight. She will come out tomorrow and address the nation, which I guess is what we could expect, given the fact that we're not going to know definitively this evening the results.
Howard University, when there's a big crowd, that is not the sound of a big crowd there. That's not celebratory meeting. That comes like a tough kind of cutting out conversation percentage.
Yeah, I mean, it's the 2024 version of the Javits Center at this time. I'm not saying that it's going to end that way, but at this time, it's feeling like it's too early, and the senior person comes out and says, everybody go home, and we'll see what happens, and we will see what happens. And we get the rest of the votes, but...
In the immortal words of Bob Dylan, you don't have to be a weatherman to know which way to lead. Well, right. And this very much felt, I mean, we talked before about whether this felt more like 2020 or 2016. This felt so much like the Javits Center, and specifically, her campaign chairman, John Podesta, came out at almost exactly the same point 8 years ago and made almost exactly that same speech. And the next day, Hillary Clinton came out and conceded. Now, again, he is not 270 yet. He has not lost this race, but you don't have to be a weapon.
Right. And just to go over where we are right now, so there are 7 battleground states, and we have CNN's call projected that Donald Trump will win 2 of them, North Carolina and Georgia. And so of the 5 that are remaining, there's Arizona. Trump is in the lead currently with 0.72% of the vote. Pennsylvania, Donald Trump is in the lead with 2.6% of the vote. Wisconsin, Donald Trump is in the lead by 3.53% of the vote. And then there's Michigan, Donald Trump is in the lead with 6.12% of the vote. There's also Nevada, which I don't see on that list there, and I haven't committed to memory, but there wasn't enough really percentage of it that had come in yet for us to be definitively saying anything. In any case, the point I'm trying to make is, of the 5 Battleground states that are outstanding, Donald Trump is currently in the lead in all 5.
In a place like Nevada, the demographics are something that is more favorable to them. That's an electorate that has more male voters and more Latino voters, and those are 2 groups who are seeing living and closing.
And I just want to go back to, even though we don't know where the blue wall states are yet, we're still waiting for votes to come in, some of the underlying themes that we are seeing that Holly were talking about a little while ago that I think is important to go back to. One of the things that we started out the evening with was about the women, the question about whether or not women were going to come out for Kamala Harris, whether or not men were going to come out for Kamala Harris in a post-Roe world on that issue. And if you just look at, for example, suburban women, they, according to the national poll, they were pushing.
It seems like abortion was not an animating issue. It was right after the Dobbs ruling. In so many of these exit polls, I'm seeing that the economy, the people who are most upset, listed themselves as angry or facing severe hardship, those are the people who really want to fight.
Yeah, I have to confess that I always thought in the last week or 2 of the campaign this idea of trying to appeal to secret voters was something of a risk. Anderson?
Jake, thanks very much. This is the first time we've all talked in that sort. You make a focus.
Look, I think that this was a race that was very, very close in the polling, and for the longest time, including up until last night, I and others said we had notions, we had feelings, but we weren't going to make any predictions. And the truth is, we're sitting here tonight and we're waiting for the 3 states that can determine the race one way or the other to render a verdict, and they're close. And she's right to wait to have those votes counted. But what was very clear watching the night unfold is that rural areas voted for her in significantly less numbers than, or percentage-wise, than they did for Joe Biden 4 years ago. And she could make up the difference in some of these suburban areas and the cities. And I think the discussion that John King had was very pertinent. I care deeply, more than I can say tonight, about democracy and what it means. I've said it a million times, I'm the son of a refugee, and I revere this country. I'm so grateful for what it's given my family and everyone else. But part of democracy, and this is my major difference with Donald Trump, part of a democracy is to honor the will of the people, to honor its institutions. I imagine that that's what the Vice President's going to do when the final verdict comes in, if it's not a positive verdict. And I think there's a message in that. There's a message in that. And I think it's an important message.
I think the reality is Kamala faced tremendous headwinds heading into this. I was riding on a bit of a vibe in a sense in the final stretch because she did feel like she had energy. But the fundamentals have been against her from the outset. Biden's unpopularity was driving her. She had opportunities to create distance with him. And I think chose not to. I think it's a respectful thing. You don't want to throw your boss under the bus. But the reality is, Donald Trump was going to blow Joe Biden out of the water, and she needed to create that distance. There's also just some fundamental shifts that I think are happening, a realignment with the parties and within the country, and I think we need to be more in tune with them. This could end up being the most diverse coalition that ends up possibly electing Donald Trump, and we need to hear about why that is. It's the issues of the moving forward.
The way this is playing out tonight, I think we need to recognize that over half of America feels very secure border, the economy, crime. They might not be a perfect messenger, but the message resonates. And with Van, we talked about this earlier about check engine light, all those things are real. Democracy is a luxury and we can't pay the bills. And I think, there are a great deal of Americans tonight who are sitting back and saying, kind of looking at everyone, that they, they view the elite and kind of sneering and saying, we told you so. And how hard-working people who believe in these things, right? People don't like to be talked down to. This is Hispanics. Trump is crushing the Hispanics. The Hispanic vote in Pennsylvania, right? He's getting 50% of the women.
That county is up from 2020, so 45% is now.
We're talking about how the Puerto Ricans are coming. He's winning those votes because you know what those people care about? They care about security. They care about economy. They care about those things around the kitchen table. So if the former president is going to be the next president, I think there's a lot, Americans are going to have to sit back. He's going to win. Looks like he may win the popular vote. Right? There's going to be a reckoning in America. And they're going to sit back and say, maybe some of these things Trump is passing, they're not crazy. Maybe he's right. That means the Democratic Party is coming back to the center. They don't be competitive again. There's going to be a part where they're going to say, we need to go further to the left.
I get what you're saying. And I do see it differently because I'm thinking about the people who are not a part of anybody's elite, who are hurting tonight. There are African American women who know a little bit about being talked down to, who know a little bit about having their economic dreams crushed, who tried to dream a big dream over the past couple of months. And tonight they're trading in a lot of hope for a lot of hurt. And they were hoping that maybe this time, one of their own could be seen as worthy. And once again, they were facing rejection. And that hurts. They thought tomorrow morning they're going to walk out with their shoulders back a little bit. Maybe they were breathe for the first time. But they belong someplace. They did everything that they knew how to do. And it's going to be harder than it should be more than the whole heads up. And they're not the only people who are hurting tonight. If you're a parent of a trans kid, your child's space was used as a springboard to power for somebody. That doesn't feel good. There are going to be people tomorrow, we're going to be handing clothes and dry cleaners to people who don't have papers. There are going to be people who are going to be cleaning their teeth tomorrow who don't have papers. And they're terrified tonight. And so it's easy to blow this off, oh, look at the elite, they're going to get their comeuppance. It's not the elite that's going to pay the price. It's people who woke up this morning with a dream and are going to bed with a nightmare. And those people that deserve to be respected and held and talked to, those are the people who are going to pay the price for whatever on purpose.
I don't even know that those people didn't vote. A large portion of those people aren't part of the people that elected Donald Trump. I think they're part of the electorate. The party, the Democratic Party, let those black women down. Not Donald Trump.
Dave, we gotta go. Let's go back to Dave.
All right, thanks so much. And we're going to bring you a key race alert right now. Let's check in with the states that we have not projected. Pennsylvania, Donald Trump's still in the lead there. 51.1% of the vote. Kamala Harris has 47.8%. Donald Trump with a more than 216,000 vote lead there with 92% of the estimated vote. Coming in from the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Michigan now, the Wolverine state. Donald Trump, 52% of the vote. Kamala Harris, 46.1% of the vote. Donald Trump with a more than 203,000 vote lead with 61% of the estimated vote in from Michigan. Wisconsin, that's the backward state. Donald Trump, 51.1% of the vote. Kamala Harris with 47.3% of the vote. Donald Trump with more than 110,000 vote lead with an estimated 86% of the vote in from Wisconsin. Arizona now, Donald Trump in the lead there too, 49.9% of the vote. Kamala Harris has 49.2% of the vote. Donald Trump with a 12,242 vote lead there, a little bit more narrow with 52% of the estimated vote in from Arizona. We are awaiting more votes from the outstanding presidential battlegrounds as this race goes into the night shift. And we expect to hear Donald Trump speak to his supporters very soon. We'll be squeezing a quick break. We'll be right back. Stay here.
Our mission is to leave no person living with HIV, unknown to people who face HIV is a solved problem every single day. But let's look at facts. There are 1.3 million new infections every single year.
We have to get rid of the horrible and pervasive stigma and discrimination that still comes to HIV.
I started working in the HIV sector in 1996. Just after the sector was not running for the 3 years. My longest life was ostracized or treated differently just because of diagnosis. We need to keep talking about HIV. The fact that HIV is an epidemic is not only what you do collectively in children in order to tend to know that you have this children in order to environment, stigma and treatment. I mean, such a big difference.
I know we can have the HIV.
We can end HIV full stop.
Our election coverage continues, and we have you covered like only CNN can. Follow every result. Follow every dramatic development. Follow the facts. Follow CNN.
CNN celebrates 15 years of African Voices. A look back at some of the most memorable moments and stories from the continent.
If we lock together, then we share something new.
With internationally recognized African icons.
You're speaking out African. Why? I think the secret is walking for tranquility.
I never felt that because I was a girl, I didn't know it.
The biggest African entertainers.
I still have to push through and stay strong.
It's been amazing because it's very possible for things behind it.
And most inspirational African athletes.
There's so much talent in Africa that the more eyes we get on this, the more we can have these talents from the different places.
Champions of Africa's diverse talent and culture.
Whatever space I find myself, I want to be extremely happy.
That lend their voices to make real change in their communities and beyond. This is African Voices Changemakers, 15 years in counting. Only on CNN.
Now we have a projection for you now. CNN can project that Kamala Harris will win the state of New Mexico. New Mexico, as expected, will go to the Democrat by President Kamala Harris. New Mexico gets 5 electoral votes. What does that bring us in terms of the math? Let us look. Donald Trump has 246 electoral votes. Kamala Harris, with the addition of New Mexico, has 187 electoral votes. There are 270 electoral votes. As always, you need to win. Let's look at the states we have not called yet. In Pennsylvania, Donald Trump in the lead there still, 51.1% of the vote. Ahead of Kamala Harris, who has 47.8% of the vote. Trump leads with more than 214,000 votes. That's with an estimated 92% of the vote in. Michigan now, Donald Trump in the lead, 52.1% of the vote. Kamala Harris, 46% of the vote. Donald Trump with a more than 215,000 vote lead. That's with 62% of the estimated vote in from the Wolverine state. The Badger state of Wisconsin now, Donald Trump, 51.2% of the vote. Kamala Harris, 47.2% of the vote. Donald Trump, more than 113,000 votes ahead of Harris with an estimated 86% of the vote in from Wisconsin. In Arizona now, Donald Trump in the lead there too, 49.9% of the vote. Harris with 49.2% of the vote. Donald Trump with a more than 12,000 vote lead. That's with only 52% of the estimated vote in from Arizona. Still a lot of votes to count in Arizona. Nevada now, they've really counted a lot of votes. Donald Trump, 50.9% of the vote. Kamala Harris, 47.6% of the vote. Donald Trump with more than 33,000 vote lead. That is with 70% of the estimated vote in from Nevada. Last time we looked, it was only 2%. John King, look at that. Your buddies in Nevada reporting their votes there.
Well, last time took a very, very long time, so if we're starting to get something tonight, that's progress from Nevada. I just want to show this. This is a conversation you guys were having on the panel table the other day. Just on the importance of Pennsylvania, as we're at this point now, where North Carolina and Georgia have gone for Trump. You see the yellow of the states still on the map. Now we project Alaska's going to come in with the Republican. If that would change these paths. But there is no path to 270 for the vice president that does not include the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So, yes, she needs to win all blue wall states to get there. That would get her there on its own, as long as she wins the Nebraska 2nd Congressional District. But there's no way to get there without Pennsylvania, which is why that is absolutely critical that she win. I just want to show you what I mean. Let's assume that she back and won Michigan. She's trailing now. Let's assume she came back and won Wisconsin. She's trailing now. She's trailing here, and she's trailing here. Even if she won them all, if Donald Trump won that, he'd be over the top. And so, if she is winning this, she can afford to lose something else along the way. But because this is why we talked about this for weeks, and that's why both campaigns spent more money in Pennsylvania than any other state, Commonwealth by far. And 19 electoral votes, it's just 19 versus 16, 19 versus 11, 19 versus 10. It just affects your path to 270 now in such a profound way. So as you look at where we are now, and you come back out into the latest vote count right there, Pennsylvania is paramount. That does not mean the others don't matter. Just winning Pennsylvania wouldn't be enough to get her there either. I'm just saying she can't win without Pennsylvania. Donald Trump can. Donald Trump can, but she cannot win without Pennsylvania. And so if you look here right now, where are you? That's 219,342 votes with 93% of the voting. This is why when you heard said that Richmond at the Harris event said we would not hear from the Vice President tonight and that she wants every vote counted. You did not hear him say, we see a viable path to victory. He did not speak those words. That doesn't mean it's not, the states have not been called. But he did not say we see a viable path to victory. He said we want all the votes to be counted. And so you look here at 51%. Again, one of the big questions was, could Donald Trump get over 50? In most of these battleground states in 2016 and 2020, he was a 47, he was a 48, maybe he was a 49. In Pennsylvania right now, Donald Trump is at 51.1. And again, you're looking at a state, the Vice President, simply, there's a lot of states to count still, but if you want to get one question, she cannot lose Pennsylvania. She just cannot. The math doesn't work if she does. So you're looking, yes, there are still some votes down to be counted down here. I think when we get closer to 100% in Philadelphia, that's going to settle the math once and for all. It's improbable at the moment. Let's just be honest about it, but it's not impossible. So you keep it on the board right there. You go 78% though. 78% estimated in Philadelphia. He's at 78%. Look at the 484. We come back here, 78% to 81%. 3 points in the state's largest city. It is absolutely fundamental to Democratic victory. Underperforming Joe Biden at 3 percentage points, and at the moment, more than 100,000 votes. We're not done with the math yet. That's it. I mean, you find other places too. You find, we looked through some of the blue collar counties earlier where she was underperforming Biden, Trump was moving up. We can come back and look at that again if you want. Just Trump outperforming 2020 by 3% or more. This is significant. It's happening mostly in counties he's winning anyway. But she's on for a little bit in Chester County down there, which, again, 8-10 years ago was a Republican county. But where is Doug in Bucks County, which he's right, it's currently flipped the red. But a lot of it's out here. In places where Donald Trump already runs strong, he's running stronger. And that's critical. One of the questions coming from the campaign was, well, Donald Trump got 2016 phenomenon, more votes in 2020, but he lost. Are there really more Trump voters out there? Well, yes, apparently there are. And you see them right there, and you see them in other states as well. So there's Pennsylvania, Jake. I just want to go through this quickly to see if the math has changed. 63%, we've been stuck there for a little bit. You come down here. Again, when you're looking at 224,000 votes, Joe Biden won Michigan by 154,000 votes. Donald Trump's at 224,000 votes. And so you're looking and you're saying, where? Where? Is it possible? The only place you can get that many votes is Wayne County. They're at 24%. So you see, she's at 58% right there. Donald Trump at 39%. Again, the conversation is going to start once these states are called, assuming we stay on the trajectory we are on, which the trajectory we are on, not there, not the finish line, but the trajectory we are on is an overwhelming Donald Trump victory in the Electoral College. The possibility of flipping back all three blue wall states, but even if he loses Michigan, look at that. That's going to be a conversation with the Democratic Party. How's that happen? How is Donald Trump getting 30% in up to 39%? How's that happen? How do you get 30%? The Democrats were already debating how do you get 30% 4 years ago. If that number holds, if Donald Trump's above 35%, close to 40% in Wayne County, Michigan, the Democratic Party has a big conversation on its hand. When I started doing this a very long time ago, it was about the Reagan Democrats in Macomb County. Now it's going to be about the Trump Democrats everywhere. Including black men in Wayne County. There'll be people saying it's the Arab American vote, young voters didn't come out. The analysis will start as soon as we're done getting someone to 270. But that's a huge problem. And you see it again here. Again, the foundation of the Democratic Party is urban America, and then the closest suburb. That's where they're at. And that has allowed Democrats allow Joe Biden to withstand all of that. Donald Trump's phenomenon in rural America, where it's not only winning those counties, but the math is up, and this time again he turned out more voters. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This is Milwaukee County, the city and the suburbs around it. But the vice president's at 66%. That looks impressive, except when you go back 4 years ago, and you see the President of the United States was at 69%. And so in place after place, especially starting in the foundations and in the building blocks of the Democratic Party, which is urban America, she's having a problem. We're not done with all the vote counting yet, but she's underperforming President Biden from 4 years ago. In the coastal suburbs, we find some exceptions to this, but in the coastal suburbs, she's doing reasonably well, reasonably close, exceeding in some places. But Trump is doing better in urban America, a little bit better in some key suburbs in the Battleground states, and turning out even more voters in the red rural counties where we have seen the Trump phenomenon in 2016 and 2020. It's with us again in 2024.
Yeah. John, we'll come back to you. Caitlin Collins at Trump headquarters. We'll expect the former president to speak soon. Caitlin, do we know, how soon we may get there, and any idea on what he may say?
No, Anderson. Obviously, we're waiting to see what this is going to look like because this is so new to the Trump campaign as well. They've been watching these numbers carefully all night. John Kane's been going back and forth on the magic wall, but they themselves obviously were waiting to see, were there any surprises in store? They were watching closely. The gut check of North Carolina and Georgia obviously came through for them, and now we are told Donald Trump is making preparations to head over here to the convention center. This is where the official watch party is, and Anderson, we saw aides preparing a teleprompter on stage, hiking the left turn and the microphone to make sure it's ready. So a clear sign that we do expect to hear from him. When that happens remains to be seen. And Kristen, honestly, as we've been looking at this, Trump is famously very superstitious. He doesn't like to start planning things too far in advance, talking too much about who he put in a potential cabinet, much less working on a speech, which he said today he did not have remarks prepared.
And even the people around him were hesitant to put anything down. There were some conversations about potentially drafting something, either way, drafting two versions of the speeches, but they were still hesitant to even do that. And reminder that Donald Trump finished up his rally last night at 2:30 in the morning. When they got on the plane, there were some conversations about what tonight was going to look like, but essentially everybody was like, let's wait and see, let's go and see. Now, I am told when Donald Trump gets here, it's not clear if he's going to go to the stage right away. Obviously, they have called North Carolina and Georgia, which were big wins for the Trump campaign. Whether or not they're going to wait for one more of those big swing states remains to be seen. We do believe he's going to be here imminently. He's going to leave Mar-a-Lago, head over here. We obviously know they've bussed over all the people from Mar-a-Lago who just arrived here. We've seen this group fill out. But how exactly he's going to handle this moment remains to be seen. We know what happened, obviously, in 2020. I am told he's in a very different headspace now than he was at that point, probably because of the fact they're telling him that he could win this.
Yeah, you could sense that today when he was voting in his polling place as well. He was talking in more reflective ways about the campaign. He was saying he believed it was one of the best campaigns they've ever run, talking about in terms of just pure messaging. And I mean, obviously, some of his allies would disagree with the candidate himself on that front. But one thing about this group tonight, obviously, it's filled with the supporters who are invited by the campaign. A lot of his allies were also in Mar-a-Lago, than people like Elon Musk, Rev. Kennedy Jr., Dana White. We've seen Senator Barbara Rubio trickling in here. House Speaker Mike Johnson is also on the way. So he
much. We have a major projection in the battle for control of Congress. And CNN can now project that Republicans will win back control of the United States Senate. We can make this projection because CNN projects Republicans win the U.S. Senate seat in Nebraska. The GOP picking up enough seats to reclaim the majority that they lost 4 years ago. This is a huge victory for Donald Trump's party as we're still awaiting the final outcome of the presidential race. And Dan and Ash, there were a lot of questions in the air about what was going to happen. Ultimately, what happened with the U.S. Senate is what we generally thought was going to happen. Republicans now have control.
It was a very, very good match for Republicans this time around, a very bad match for Democrats. One of the questions was whether or not these kind of brand name, long-serving Democrats would be able to kind of outperform the realities of their states, whether it's John Tester in Montana or Sherrod Brown in Ohio. And the answer is no.
Yeah, Sherrod Brown is a great example because he came to office in 2006 during a kind of blue wave. So by 2018, like he was only there for when it was more favorable for Democrats, and that was not this year.
I mean, let's talk about the significance of a Republican Senate if, I repeat, if Donald Trump is elected president. It means that they can confirm without any Democratic votes any appointment he makes to his cabinet, to the government, to the Supreme Court should there be a vacancy. It's an enormous advantage to a president. And at this point, we haven't talked about it much, but in the House, although that hasn't been decided yet, the Republicans have flipped 3 Democratic seats. The Democrats haven't flipped a single Republican seat. So there is the possibility here of a complete, united Republican government with Donald Trump as the president and with a Republican House and Senate, which means that in terms of appointments, in terms of immigration policy, economic policy, environmental policy, you name it, he could have a pretty blank check.
So, for example, on immigration policy, which is something that we think that Donald Trump would, if he wins, want to enact something along the lines of the proposals he's made. Republicans have said, we passed an immigration bill, H.R. 2, which was a tough, it wasn't a compromise package, it was a tough immigration bill. H.R. 2.